I'm Holly Constant.
And I'm Maddie Hockaday. We really love Parks and Rec, and we really love behind-the-scenes details.
So we're researching everything from DVD extras like deleted scenes and commentaries,
plus interviewing cast and crew who actually worked on the show.
We also bring on guests and friends to geek out about everything parks.
So join us, you tropical fish.
This is literally the best Parks and Rec rewatch podcast.
We're your park pals.
There's a park and some pals, and there's also therapy too.
Okay, well, are you ready? Should we do it?
Yeah, I can't find you. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, we are ready. Let's do it.
Okay, cool. All right, well, what do you want to start with? Should we start with, like, talking about the new year, or should we talk about Parks and Rec first, or what do you want to do?
I think let's start with a little intro of welcome to the new year and a little update on all the things, because Holly had a very, very exciting holiday season.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it was really
let's
cool.
start with that.
Okay, yeah, we'll do a quick little moment. Well, first of all, Mara's thing is now up. Mara's episode is up. Apple Podcast was being very dumb and not refreshing, so I had to go in and like manually refresh and ask all of our like podcast streaming services and whatever the hell like what was going on. So it is on Spotify and it's everywhere that you need it to be now. So please listen to that. And so for the New Year / Christmas, I was in Germany with my sister and my mom and my brother-in-law, and it was really wonderful, and it's really sad being back. I feel like the first couple of days, it was like I felt like I was catching up, but I was also being like productive and like into it, and it was like new and fresh, and now I'm just like back to my usual lethargy, if you will. And yeah. So that kind of sucks, but being over there was really nice. And we went to Munich for a little bit, which was really super lovely. Brooklyn has a car, so like for work and everything, so she was able to drive us to Munich, which was so nice. I had never been to Munich. I've been to Germany, but not to Munich. So it was like really nice to be able to see all of like the winter markets, and I got a lot of like things for my house to like decorate it with different places and stuff. My mom and I were talking about this too, where like I used to be, she still is, but I used to be that person that like had to have the thing that said where I was. Like the thing has to say Germany, the thing has to say Munich. But lately I've just been like, I'll know. Like, yeah. And I think she's
that's
worried,
what's important.
Yeah, exactly. I think she's more worried that she'll like forget where she got it or something. But I'm like, I'll tell you. I'll help you remember. But yeah, it was really great. All the architecture, all the food. I mean, the food is just like so good. I don't understand just like all the limitations that America puts, and like all the lovely like pedestrian streets. Like America just loves cars so much, and it's just like we walked everywhere every day, and it was like so lovely. And you know, we didn't take trains because we didn't need to really. But there was a lot of great stuff in the small little town that Brooklyn is staying in now, which was nice. And it's really interesting to like be in the place where beer was like originated legitimately. It all tastes the same after a while because like America apparently is the one that started with like the hops and adding all the like IPA shit, you know? But like there was still that there, but if you were to get like the original, like at all the beer houses and stuff, it definitely tastes like a Budweiser, which Budweiser was from German immigrants, so that makes sense. But yeah, it was really lovely and super fun, and the flight was crazy. By crazy, I just mean like it was nerve-wracking because on the way over, we were nervous that it was going to be delayed, which it was, but we still got there. And then on the way back, it was like 9 or something hours, and it was tough. The jet lag was tough over there too. So, and but yeah, it was great, and I had a great time. So
that's so awesome.
Yeah.
I think I agree with you with the whole, I feel like all of Europe does this because it was like that in Ireland too, where there are just huge stretches of street where no cars can go.
Yeah.
And it's just for people to walk. And I think like that's also happens to be like a piece of how like the European lifestyle is healthier than ours too, because they can walk everywhere. And I don't know, I don't know where you like exactly you are in Nashville, like the city, because like here in Boston, right, we could walk everywhere, but like where I live now, I can't walk anywhere.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we have to take a car everywhere. So yeah, I think that I love that when you get to go experience that, like that piece of the culture is really cool.
Well, and that's actually one of the reasons why I've been in this apartment for 3 years now. And that's actually one of the reasons why I moved to this area, because it is sidewalk friendly and like, pedestrian friendly. It's not like I can go anywhere, but like I'm in a really great area where like the grocery store is across the street and the like Walgreens and a couple different restaurants and stuff like that. So if I wanted to, I could. Unfortunately, I feel like I don't have a cart like I had in Boston for groceries and stuff. And so I feel like it would be tough for me to go grocery. I have before if like I really needed to, like in the snow when you couldn't drive and I walked over there, or like if I only needed one little thing, I would do that. But yeah.
Yes. So Germany was amazing. And what is your favorite trinket you bought yourself?
Trinket. Well, I got this like really big stein, but I got like a tiny little baby stein too. And I think that one's the cutest because it has a lot of cute little, it does have like Munich and all the big, like landmarks and big buildings and things like that would remind me where we were and everything. So that was really nice. But I also got a lot of ornaments that were like Christmassy, which was really nice. So, and like wooden and things like that. So, yeah, very cute.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So how was yours?
I'm so glad you were able to do that.
Thank you.
It was good. We were really chill. I mean, I think this year was a lot. Mm-hmm. So just being able to stay here and take some time off from work was really nice. And Connor came to visit, so that was really good. Awesome. Yeah, so that was great to have him here. And then, we've just been sick. People have been in and out of being sick, my dad and Ivan, and somehow Connor and I didn't get sick, but that's kind of what we've been
Are you sick now, though?
Doing.
A little bit? Or?
No, I just have allergies.
Oh, okay. I know. I feel like a lot of people are going through that.
Yeah. I have allergies year round in Arizona.
Ugh, that is really awful and terrible.
Yeah. So it's not a good time. So, but it is what it is. But something I asked for Christmas, which I'm very excited because it's helping me with the podcast, is I asked for an iPad because that old computer that we were using, that I was using, it was my mom's, it completely died.
Oh, wow.
And it happened like 10 minutes before you and I were getting on a podcast one day, and it just was dead. So I'm using Ivan's, which is totally fine. But so my iPad is from 2016, my old one, and my computer died. So I was like, I just would like a new iPad with a keyboard.
Yeah.
And that can be my computer. So it won't record like this, because it doesn't have all the correct ports and whatnot. But I like to handwrite everything. And so I hand wrote all of our notes for today. Wow. And I think it just was better for me, and because I highlighted stuff and I did sub bullet points and stuff that I don't usually do in my notes. So I'm very excited to use this for the podcast.
Yay. So you'll use your iPad for notes or no?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. And then
for our notes.
Yeah. I know they have apps or whatever where you can highlight everything with the iPad too.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is I'll show you. Hold on. Eagleton. Boom. Okay. So there you go.
Oh, nice. I love that.
So handwritten. Yeah,
so you can handwrite it on the iPad.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
And then see, I have a couple of my favorite lines highlighted so that I remember.
That's so cool.
So, yeah. So I'm very excited because we just have notebooks everywhere with my notes from the years. Yeah. And it's because I don't like writing, I don't like typing notes. It's just, I don't think very well that way. Mm-hmm. And so having the ability to handwrite is going to make all the difference, I feel like. So I'm very excited.
Well, good. That's great.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
And color coding.
Well, speaking of notes, I guess we should go ahead and get into it. If you
are ready. I thought
it
was a nice segue.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so we are at Eagleton, huge episode, season 3, episode 12. This I have a bit of a recap. It's more of a moral recap, I feel, from Mara's episode, because I said in our Instagram post that I feel like we were so starstruck that I have no idea what we were really saying. And by we I mean me, because I just was really starstruck by her.
I feel that too. 100%.
Yeah. And we were talking about all like, and I'm sure it doesn't matter and no one really picked up on it or whatever. But when I was going back and editing it, we were talking about like Twitter and being canceled and all that stuff. And I was saying like, well, it really only matters your intention, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know. I just had this like kind of thing where I think we've talked about it last year, and by we, I mean like, you know, society and everybody. But like now it used to matter just what your intention was, but now it really doesn't matter what your intention was anymore. It just matters how you handle it. So I think that's the big thing for cancelability, if that's a word. It's like, obviously there are big things that can't be really undone and you don't really get a second chance. And that's like the choice that you made, unfortunately. Well, maybe not unfortunately, but just like you did that. So bye. But for other things, it really just depends on how it affected the other person. So like if you actually own up to it and say like, I'm sorry the way that I handled that and here are the steps that I'm taking to move forward, that's the important thing. Because like your intentions can be great, just like Mara said, but like the way that it affects someone, obviously you can't control everybody's like, you know, reactions or whatever, but you can do that to a certain extent. And so that's kind of just what I was thinking about when I was re-listening. And, you know, I just thought it was important to share that it's just how you respond to how you might have hurt someone, not necessarily your intention. Because I know I've done that. I've accidentally hurt somebody and my intention was well, but you know what I mean? And we really just have to swallow our pride. So, you know.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's kind of what she was saying is like, she's very, very careful about how she posts now because it doesn't matter what her intention was. If someone reads it the wrong way, then there's a problem, right? So, I mean, I don't know if you heard, but there was the Bills-Bengals game last week, and one of the safeties on the Bills, he collapsed.
Oh yeah, my mom was talking about this.
Yeah, so we watched it, and it's terrifying. He was resuscitated twice on the field, right? So I mean,
woke
and
up.
everybody's.
Did you see that?
Yes, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
They took his breathing tube out. He's like
God.
talking with everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Praise the Lord. So yeah, he's doing great. But there's somebody who posted and then got railed because they posted, I think it was maybe the day after, and said, what are we going to do for the playoffs with this game if you're not going to reschedule it? And everyone jumped down their throat and was like, bro, there's someone in the hospital.
Yeah.
Someone almost died, like basically almost died on the field last night, you know? So, but, you know, part of me is like, I wonder if his intention was really to be a dick or he just, you know, but that's how everybody took it was like, there's more important shit going on, bro.
Oh my God. That's like asking, I don't know. I feel like that's like asking when like a family member is in the hospital, like, so did they have a will? You know what I mean? Don't you think? That's what that reminds me of.
Kind of, yeah. No,
so was there any accurate. Like money to be scheduled to go to anyone? Yeah. Oh my God.
How important is this death?
Yeah. That's insane. Well, I'm glad that he woke up. That's me a great
too. Yes.
Thing.
Shout out to him.
And he was so young and healthy. That's like insane.
24. He's
insane.
24. But there's a guy who plays on Manchester United right now as well. He wasn't playing for Manchester United at the time, but he was doing a throw-in on the sideline and had a heart attack. He died.
Oh my God.
And now he plays on Manchester United.
That is insane.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? And so it's like these really, really healthy guys who, I mean, a soccer player runs up to 6 miles a game.
Yeah. Crazy.
And so they're really, really healthy. And just these crazy ass things can happen.
Wow.
So.
Yeah. I don't know how, I feel like, I don't know why this kind of came up for me. But like during this whole thing, it's just like, I guess 2023 and new startings and things like that. It's just one of my like words for this year. And I don't know how to like compartmentalize it or explain it necessarily. But like one of my words for this year, you know how people do like word settings instead of like total vision boards. Even you can do that too. But one of my words this year was less. And I know that sounds, for people that know me, that sounds explanatory, but I think it's just like, I want to do less of what doesn't make me happy, basically. And that means I guess this is coming up because of, you know, you can be as healthy as possible, but things can still go wrong. So I want to do like I just want to try to live my happiest life instead of trying to do all this shit like when tomorrow isn't guaranteed, you know?
Yeah,
and
life's too short.
Yeah. And so that also pertains to the podcast for those listening. If the editing isn't on point, I'm doing less now. Although I will still make it great, okay? You know me.
Yeah.
But like if you, I don't know, I was thinking about it a lot, and I'm like, if you hear a sip of water, or if you hear like a clink or something, like I'm just not going to try to, it's going to be a work in progress because I do edit some of those out. But I just am going to try really hard not to do that as much because it's a waste of time, honestly. And it also makes you feel like you're in the room with us, which is what I want anyway. If it's distracting, obviously, but like, you know what I mean?
No, but it's more authentic and kind of what you and I have talked about before in talking to each other about each other's jobs or life or whatever. We give 1,000% to everything.
Yeah.
And it's okay to not give 1,000% to everything.
Yeah.
Especially if it doesn't bring you joy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I think I love that's something that you're kind of
it's just that word keeps
keeps
coming up, like even in relationships and stuff where I'm like trying really hard for things that might not be reciprocated. I'm just gonna do less.
Yeah.
So anyway, tomorrow's not gonna come, or maybe it won't come, so that's all that 2023 is what I'm thinking about. Okay, moving on.
Which is why I'm so sorry I have to say this, which is
again.
why when you told me like 2 weeks before Christmas that you were like all of a sudden going to Germany, I was like, yes.
Yeah.
That's so awesome that you just took it by the horns and just went.
I know.
Because so many people would be like, no, and you're a planner too. So many people like sit down and they're like, well, I haven't planned it. And I haven't planned every minute of it. And I was so proud of you to hear that you were just like, fuck it.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it was a big deal. And Brooklyn and I and my mom and Brett talked about it for quite a long time. And Brooklyn and I even got like in some disagreements because I think we were just like both so not understanding like where each other was coming from. We did, but it was just like there's stressful. And it took me a long time to say yes. It did. I mean, because again, the planning thing, I was like, oh my God, I don't have like the means for this, and we didn't like schedule this, blah, blah, blah. And then I was just like, when am I going to have the opportunity to do this again? Number one, but number two, like not every vacation has to be planned to the nines like I do all the time. Like not every vacation has to be like 9 a.m. you do this, 11 a.m. you do that, blah, 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 blah. And it was really lovely and wonderful to have a casual Europe trip. Like what the fuck? Like, 100%. And to know how privileged and, grateful I am to have that experience with my family that, like, again, tomorrow's maybe won't come. So I had a lot of resistance towards that. And I've been really trying to understand that, like, for me, a lot of it's just the fear of the unknown. I was like, are you sure I can do this? Are we sure that it's going to go okay? Blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, that is such noise. And there are times, obviously, when you really do have to make sure you're planning and everything, but that wasn't this trip, and I knew that in my soul. So that's why at the end of the day I was like, you know what, let's just do it. Like, why not? Because I had money in my savings, I got a bonus at work. I was like, and Brooklyn and Brett were really lovely about like the hotels. They booked most of it, and I could pay them back, which I did. So I just like, the universe was like, baby girl, what the fuck are you doing? Stop it.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Anyway, thank you for that.
Yeah. So if anybody else listening is very much like us and has to plan everything, this is your opportunity to look at 2023 and see where you can be more flexible.
Yeah, flexible is a great word, I think.
Yeah. For, just what life has to throw at you for sure. Because some of the greatest experiences come out of nowhere, I feel like.
Exactly. And I think that it's like noticing where your resistance is coming up, because I feel like a lot of times I'm just like, no, I'm good, thanks, bye. But then like knowing the why of the resistance and that it's actually present there is another thing too. But I think that in one of my like acting workshops, they were talking about like, you don't have to go, kind of similar to the percentage thing, you don't have to go 100 miles per hour. You can take it at 25 miles per hour or whatever feels comfortable to you. And because a lot of artists especially have this thing where it's like black and white, very like, it has to be a yes or a no, it cannot be a maybe. And there are a lot of things that are that. But for example, like, I don't know why. Last night I had this like really weird epiphany where, because I've been trying to get back into working out since I've come back, and it's been rough. I am sore.
Yep.
Wow. But after like, even with boxing and like any workouts I do at home, I'm always like, well, it's my workout, so I can do it to whatever extent I need to do it. If I need to pause or if I just need to take all the modifications, who cares? Like, at least I'm moving, at least I'm like helping my body. And I don't do that with acting, really. Meaning, if I have something to do with acting, I'm like, okay, I have to set aside like 3 hours to do this thing and memorize my lines and blah, blah, blah. Which is like, again, very valid. But there are times when I feel like I can be like, why don't I just set aside 30 minutes instead of 3 hours? Or why don't I set aside 15 minutes and just incrementally work up to it, especially with like the busy work of acting, like the business side of it and like reaching out to agents and managers and, you know, headshots and all that stuff. It's like, yeah, you can set a deadline, which is great, but like you can also work in increments. And that's been really important for me to learn. And I'm like, why haven't I been doing that with everything else in my life? Like, it took me a long time to realize that with workouts where I'm like, I need to give my all and I need to be like making sure I have all the energy. But like, that's not really how that goes all the time. It's an unrealistic expectation, and it makes you feel like you failed because, you know, you set yourself up for that when you have that unrealistic goal, you know?
Yeah. Well, and it's okay to have grace with yourself. Like, it took me so long to learn that. Like, it's okay to have grace with yourself. Like, you're not giving up. You're not lazy if you do that.
Yeah.
Like, you know. So
yeah, I agree. So it's a lot of good things moving into 2023, I feel. But I do feel like, I don't know, man, I also felt like yesterday I was like, wait, we're only 6 days into 2023? Like, what? Which is so awful because like I was so like optimistic, and I still am to a certain extent, but I'm also still tired, and I'm like, oh God. But we'll get through it. It'll all be okay.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, we haven't talked about it yet, but Maddie's birthday was yesterday. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
So exciting.
I'm almost 30.
It's so crazy. Did you do anything?
Yeah, we had friends over, and I mean, I think the thing that touched my heart the most is that I got like a lot of messages that were just really heartfelt and loving, and I was just like, because I get really discouraged here sometimes because the amount of people I have to invite over to my house for my birthday it's not low. Like, the friends that I have here are wonderful and I love them. But you know, I only have like 5 or 6 people that were on my list to invite that aren't family.
I hear you.
And so to get those messages from people that I have in different countries and different states, and just be reminded like they would be at my party if they lived here, you know, kind of, it helped. So we did, we had people over for board games, because that's I absolutely love games. So that's what we did. Do you
have a favorite one?
I don't know. It kind of comes and goes with the seasons.
Yeah.
There's a game we played at New Year's that I really liked is New Phone Who Dis.
Oh my God.
I don't know if you've ever played that.
No.
It's kind of like Cards Against Humanity. So you have like the one person that puts the card out and is the judge.
Yeah.
And it's a text message, and everyone else has replies. Mm-hmm. And so they're replying to your text message. And so you choose the funniest or so it's kind of like Cards Against Humanity in that sense, where it's like you choose the funniest text response. Yeah.
Okay, cute.
So we didn't play that last night because we didn't have it, but I'm also really into those case file games, like the murder mystery files. Have you ever done one of those?
I don't think I have.
Oh, that would be fun if you have like a group of, I think we did it with 6 people, and that was like just the right amount of people to do it. But it literally looks like a detective file, the game does, and someone's been murdered.
Oh, wait, does each person have like a character?
No.
Oh, okay, that's a different one. Okay.
Yeah, that's different. This one is you are all working together, like if you were all detectives to solve the murder. And when you feel like you found the first clue that's going to point you in the right direction, you'd put it in like online, and then it tells you yes or no. And then you open the next folder, which gives you more evidence.
Okay.
Gotcha. So then you find, you try to find the murderer. So that's really fun. But you have to be with people who also enjoy that kind of game. Yeah. Because otherwise people will get bored very fast.
Interesting. Okay.
So.
Well, that sounds fun though. I would imagine that would be fun to like all work together to find out who it is.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And it's like tiny little things that you don't think about.
Yeah.
So
I also really love, have you heard of those Jack in the Box games through like Xbox or Amazon or whatever? Those are so fun. And I feel like they're such a good like group moment.
They're a great icebreaker too.
Totally.
Because that's one of the games we played when we first met my dad's girlfriend's kids.
Oh, okay.
And like it was just, you don't know these people,
Yeah.
but you're like learning what their humor is, and you're, you know, that's, I think one of the first things we did with them was played this game, so that was cool.
Yeah, that's so cool.
It's
oh my
a
God.
nice time.
Love that. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll have to add that to my list. I just saw on Cosmo, and then this will be the last thing, but maybe not. I don't know. But I just was reading Cosmo, and they had these dating games that you could like take to a first or second date or something. And it was like basically like icebreaker questions, but like they weren't lame, if that makes sense. I was reading some of them, and I was like, that's a great question to ask, and like a really fun way to like not make it seem like an interview. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you're just randomly coming up with questions, which is fun too, but like this is a game that we're like having fun with, you know, and still learning about each other. There's a couple of them, and there's some for friendships too. So I'll have to look into them or like
cool.
post it or something, because I feel like that would be a fun way to get to know somebody.
I feel like if someone's on a date and they're playing a game with someone, I feel like that loosens you up much more too, rather than feeling like the interview part.
Oh my God,
It's
literally
more,
sitting
it's more
across
like
the room from one, or the table from one another, just like staring you down. Hate it. Kill it.
not here for it.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, Eagleton. Here we are. We have a new writer and a new director on this one, which is so insane. This was written by Emily Spivey. Emily Spivey, queen goddess of literally everything. I read her whole bio on her website and just wanted to share a little bit. She grew up loving SNL, so then she went to LA to study and became part of the Groundlings. Then she got a job with Mad TV, and then went on to be staff at King of the Hill, which... obviously,
Greg Daniels.
Everybody is in this circle. And then her friend, Maya Rudolph, got a job at SNL. And then she joined the Emily Spivey joined the writing staff at SNL. Then she also helped with Last Man on Earth, which is Will Forte's show. So good. I think it's on Hulu at this point. And then she wrote Wine Country with Liz Kukowski.
Oh.
I know.
That's with Maya and Amy and okay.
Paula Pell.
Melissa McCarthy is in that, I think, isn't she? Is she
I don't
not?
think so.
Maybe she's not.
Yeah, I don't think so. But Paula Pell's in it.
Okay.
And it's basically all of the SNL / like 30 Rock / just all those people, which is so lovely. But Liz Kukowski, who wrote Wine Country with Emily Spivey, was also on SNL. And Amy Poehler actually directed that movie. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
I didn't know that either. I feel like I should have, but that was her directorial debut. So crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which, side note, when I watched that movie, I was like, Holly and I need to do this with a group of people
I know.
at some point in our lives. I'm so down for that.
Oh my God. I have a group of people. We're called the Wordles because we do the Wordle together, and we have a group chat.
Love it.
And we always have Wordle hangs. And one of the ones that they've been talking about, like seriously, is going to Napa. So I don't know if that's going to happen, but I'm totally down. So
that's awesome.
Anyway, then she went on to write for Modern Family, and then she wrote about a show about her own life, which was called Up All Night. And if you look it up, I'm sure that you'll be able to like recognize this cover. Christina Applegate was in it, and Will Arnett, which is Amy Poehler's ex-husband, obviously.
Yes.
And she also produced a lot of these too. But basically, Up All Night was like a show based on her life about her husband and her son. And so that was really cool to learn. And I loved that. And I just love that this little lady team is happening because our director is Nicole Holofcener, who is also a queen goddess of everything and huge like in the industry as far as all these awards and stuff. It's insane. This is her first Parks episode, but she also directed Smallest Park, which is the best episode because Smallest Park is when our Ben and Leslie love each other.
Yeah. It's an annoying episode for a hot minute.
Oh, hells yeah.
I will say that.
Their whole relationship at the beginning is really frustrating, obviously. Ugh.
Yeah.
But this is like...
correct.
So good. And she also directed the Pawnee Eagleton Tip-Off, iconic, and Jerry's Retirement. Like, so many amazing episodes.
That's great.
I know.
Wow.
She also directed Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, Orange is the New Black, and she also wrote and directed Enough Said with Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Do you know that movie?
No, but I know Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Yes.
And I love her.
What's his name from The Sopranos was in it, and it was like one of his first ever things that wasn't like about the mob. And like people were really laughing at that. But I have it on my list of things. But Nicole Holofcener was on one of the podcasts that I listened to, and I totally remember her name, but I can't remember like what it was that she did, and obviously it's all of these amazing things. But she also directed that Oscar-nominated movie with Melissa McCarthy, which you had mentioned, her name. That one with Can You Ever Forgive Me is what it's called. And Melissa McCarthy has like brown hair and very like not comedy, I don't think. But if you ever looked up any of these, I don't know if I've ever seen that. Yeah, I haven't seen it either. But if you ever looked up any of these, you will be able to tell like, oh yeah, that poster. Also, Friends with Money, The Last Duel, which is Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. She directed that too. And so if you follow her, I'll tag her when we release this episode. But if you follow her on Instagram, she has like these incredible pictures and she's just like so cool. So Emily and Nicole are here with Amy Poehler, and also, oh my gosh, what's the Lindsay Carlisle Shay, which we'll talk about her a little bit later.
Hold on. She has a very wonderful name. Posey.
Parker
is her last name. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Parker Posey. Because she has a great.
She does.
Alliterative name.
Yes.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll talk about her a little bit later. Yeah. Okay. So that is our writer and director. And now I'm ready for our first summary of 2023 whenever you are ready.
Absolutely. Love it. Here's going to be the issue with my iPad. Will I be able to read my writing? Okay.
See.
When Eagleton puts up a fence to keep Pawnee kids from playing in their park, Leslie goes head-to-head with an old friend turned rival. Meanwhile, Ron tries to dodge any plans Leslie has made for his birthday.
Yay! Which I thought that was so funny. I rewatched the episode today before we got on, just like refresh myself, because I watched it before the new year and everything. And I was like, oh my God, it's Ron's birthday and Maddie's birthday.
Yeah. Except I am more Anne.
Yeah, totally.
In this.
Oh my God, we'll talk about it, but I have a favorite line that relates to that. It is, which we can guess, but anyway.
Love it.
Okay, so I wanted to talk about, I told you this, but on the DVD extras, there were some really funny promos to promote this season. And I'm not going to play the really long one, but you guys, you have to somehow, maybe it's on YouTube, I don't know. But there is a lovely promo with Adam Scott and Amy Poehler, and they have been told, evidently or allegedly, that the new season is going to be 3D, and so they do all this like amazing things that they and by amazing I mean like they're just coming up close to the camera and like putting their hands close to the camera and like throwing confetti at the camera and thinking that it's going straight to the audience. And it's just so funny because also apparently Adam Scott was in a movie that was 3D, and then he starts like, you know, saying, oh, when they actually find out that it's not 3D, he's like, oh yeah, on that other movie there was these other cameras, and Amy Poehler's like, will you shut the fuck up about that movie? Because and it's so funny, it just takes such a turn because they love each other at first and then they're like, shut up. And Emily Spivey is in the promo as well. It was so long, so I didn't I did record it for my own purposes and to send to you, but if you guys are like into it, I'll, you know, maybe play it in the next episode, but I just thought it was too long. But I do want to play for you the shorter promo that Aziz Ansari / Tom has, but it's really Aziz. They're all in the conference room, and Aziz is like, okay, I think that we should make a new intro, and it's like him fighting crime during all this with like all these ladies, and I have to share it with you because I just think it's really funny. So let me go ahead and do that.
What's up with all this 3D shit? Was this when 3D was just coming out and it was a big deal?
I don't know, maybe.
Because, like, they're always talking about Avatar.
Yeah. Oh my God, which, by the way, I haven't seen it yet, but Avatar 3 is out, or 2 is out, so go see it. I haven't watched the first one in a while, so I really need to do that first. But Sean saw it, and he said it was great. He saw it in 3D. We're not
just prepare yourself, because my brother and his girlfriend went when they were here on a little date night.
Oh.
And they were gone for like 4 hours.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently it's like 3 hours and 30 minutes.
Yep,
so if you're down for that.
The first one is almost 3. I think it's like 2.5.
Yeah.
So, I'm ready. Yeah. I'm ready. It's like the Avengers. I have my whole little popcorn moment happening. I'm ready. Okay.
I love it.
This is Aziz.
Okay, guys, season 3 of Parks and Recreation premieres January 20th at 9:30 on NBC after The Office. I thought it might be a good idea to kind of spice things up for our return. So I took the liberty of creating us a brand new opening credit sequence. Very cool. Check it out.
Yeah, some days I feel unfazed, like when I'm with my friends with a cut raised. On Monday, I got a gun raised, suicidal do or die until hump day. Then I go right back at it like an automatic. More drinks, more songs, more beats to rap. I need a shrink, I'm gone.
Anyway, it just keeps going on like that.
I love that the original theme is in the background.
That's what I was gonna say. I almost want to send it to Vincent Leslie Jones and be like, they did a remix of this.
Just in case you weren't sure.
Yeah, but it's really
aware.
funny. Like it just keeps on going on like that for like a minute or two, and he's like fighting crime. He's like being at the Snake Hole Lounge with all these ladies, and it keeps saying starring Aziz, introducing Aziz, created by Aziz, and like it's just really funny. I don't know who's rapping. I would love to know that, but it was great.
There was a second where it sounded like Andy Samberg for like 2 seconds, and then when he kept going, I was like, "That's not
maybe
Andy."
not. It could have been though. That would have been hilarious.
That would have been great.
Oh my gosh.
I love it.
Well, anyway, so I just wanted to share those little nuggets of information, but also it's kind of lovely that we're starting in January and they are starting in January as well. So we're kind of like on the same
coming together
algorithm. It's like a parallel universe. Okay, I feel like Eagleton, I just have to say that this is like such an origin story moment for Leslie, that we find out her background, so much of her past, and like why she does what she does. Love that.
Yeah. I agree. I do. I enjoy this episode as well. And it kind of sets up for, because they use Eagleton a lot moving forward.
Oh yeah, totally.
Well. So
yeah, and this is the first
cool.
time we're putting like a face to the name, if you will, with Eagleton, because we've talked about her before, if you will, but we haven't actually seen Eagleton, so it's kind of nice. And then this is the first time too that we have used like the passage of time, or at least I think it's the first time, because it says, the screen says Monday, and Leslie comes in when Leslie's coming into Ron's office and like hovers and stuff, and then throughout it says like Wednesday, Friday, whatever, but I don't know if we've done that before, and obviously that's probably to talk about Ron's birthday happening on Friday. But yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think we've seen that before.
Yeah. And then she's tricking him into revealing his birthday. She comes in super casually. You know something's up because she is like just standing there. Also, Ron is like working. I thought that was funny.
Why?
He has paperwork, and that's like one of his lines where he's like, "I know you love paperwork, but stop hovering over my desk." It's just,
I almost wonder if it's not for the Parks Department.
Oh, maybe
though.
That would have been.
I almost wonder if it's for himself.
Yes.
For something else.
That's amazing. But anyway, so she found out, and he's like immediately scared and disgusted, and just like his facial expression is so funny, and she's just like so the opposite of that, where she's, I love this little sing-songy thing of like, it's your birthday and I know when it is. But I love that line too of like, or not line, but like that little part where he redacts everything on the paper about his birthday. No one knows any information about him. Like literally the only thing on there is his name.
Right. And I love that she goes to one of the most unofficial places to find out when his birthday is, because that's the only place he trusts.
And she has the card. Like, did she like either stole the card, or the guy gave him the card, or gave her the card? That's like so funny.
This is what I think happened. She was like, "Listen, it's his birthday. I know it's going to be his birthday, so I'm going to treat him. Yeah. So I need his card." You know?
Yeah, I wonder what the bribe was. She said it was a well-placed bribe. Maybe it was just money. I don't know. You know?
Baskin Robbins is like teenagers.
Right.
So.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's really funny, too,
that
how much she's been like investigating this. She said it's been 3 years of investigation, Freedom of Information Act, phone calls, and then obviously Baskin Robbins spilled the beans.
Yeah. But I think that checks out for who Leslie is as a person, and she knows everyone else's birthday.
Definitely.
And Ron is probably the person she's been closest to the longest. So.
Yeah. Totally. And Ron is so distressed. Like, he is basically almost crying. And she's like, "You blew it." And she says she's going to make this huge party because she has a lot of time to make up for, because she hasn't been able to give him a birthday party. And I looked up also because Ron says birthdays were invented by Hallmark to sell cards, which is a great line because
It's great.
Because like everything else that Hallmark quote created, like Valentine's Day maybe, or like, I don't know, all these other things, thinking of you, whatever, is like obviously like they could have, I don't know, that's a legitimate sentiment. But like with birthdays, like that's literally the day you were in the earth, sir. That is not made up. But
Yeah.
the celebration I know is what he means. But still, it's just like really hilarious.
Yeah. Which brought me to think about, I know there are still cards in the store, but there's no way people buy as many cards as they used to.
I know.
And I feel like we only really know Hallmark now for their Christmas movies.
Oh my God, totally. That's like their side hustle turned main day job.
Yeah, for sure. Like that was probably the smartest move they ever made.
I know.
Was being like, you know what? We can make romantic movies that make no sense.
Yeah. I remember going into like the Hallmark stores when I was younger, and I know
That's
they still
right.
have
They have
them.
stores.
Mhm. Yeah, they have stores that have like really lovely like things remembered kind of trinkets and ornaments and like, you know, all that kind of stuff. So for sure.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yes. Well, I looked up when birthdays started being celebrated and like the whole origin
Love
of
it.
that because I was like really interested. And to be frank, it's like there's so many different schools of thought here. And so I'm just going to say what I found. And if anyone knows any different, let me know. But it basically started with the Egyptians. They were celebrating the
Why did everything start with the Egyptians?
No. But also, side note, there is a siren going on. And I'm really sorry about that. But
I can't hear it.
You'll hear it in the recording because that's what I said.
Because it's loud enough.
I don't know why it always happens.
Right when we're recording.
Yeah. It's so dumb, but I'm just going to keep going, you guys, and I'm sorry about that. Okay. So, yeah, everything started with the Egyptians. They were celebrating an Egyptian pharaoh becoming a god. And so for this purpose, it wasn't technically their day of birth, but the day they became a god. So that was in the 19th, or that was earlier than the 19th century. But then when we came to the 19th century, around 1860 through 1880, people started celebrating humans' birthdays, but it was really only for rich or famous people. Like they celebrated George Washington's birthday, like people that had money to actually celebrate. And then something I found that was super interesting was when more people started getting household clocks and having calendars in their house instead of like just in a town square or something, people really became more aware of time passing and how valuable that time was. So according to this one article I found, people started trying to mark that passage of time, which is really interesting because now we have clocks on our phone, at our fingertips, on our laptop, whatever. But like, and at this time clocks were around for a while, but they just weren't really in homes as much. So I thought that was really interesting. And then they started using ages to separate grades and like health assessments and what's that word? Like city consensus and stuff like that. Not consensus, census, the city census. Yeah. Anyway.
I knew what you're saying.
Yes. So there's that. So that's kind of when birthdays kind of became more intrigued.
I literally don't think I could live without a calendar.
I know.
Or a clock.
Now, the way we think about it, I mean, I'm trying to think. I mean, I've been trying to. Now dogs are barking.
Our country's so
God.
time sensitive.
You guys, don't you know I'm trying to record here?
Record a podcast.
Get out of here. Anyway.
Yeah. I feel like we're just too sensitive to time now at this point.
Yeah.
As a culture.
Totally. And I think a lot of people have been trying to just like remind us that time is a construct and all that kind of stuff, which is true.
Yeah.
But, you know, for certain things, you do need it, I feel. So at least with the way we live now. But anyway, so that's that. And then cake, because I was like, well, there's so many parts to a birthday. So what the hell? Cake is most likely traced back to Roman rituals, although some say it started with fruit, not cake, which would make sense because, you know, cake was made with sugar and sugar was only for the rich people, which is insane. I always have to remind myself of that. Like sugar and so many things like seasonings and spices and stuff were only for the rich because it had to be imported and it was mega expensive to do that. But so I would understand why birthday rituals started with fruit. But candles on the cake have a lot of different origins. Some say the Greeks lit candles to honor a god and by blowing it out, which would make sense, I suppose, if you think about like, you know, altars now and things like that. And that blowing out a candle was sending a message to them. But also some people say that cake and candles came from Germans because there's this thing called Kinderfest that started in the 18th century, and they put a candle on there for each year. So I don't know. But again, it's not American, and that's another thing that I learned when I was not learned, but just was reminded of in Germany, that we are such not original people. Okay, everything came from somewhere else, and which is great. We built upon those things, but origins all start somewhere else. Okay,
Yeah,
and we would not be anywhere without immigrants. Thank you so much.
That's okay. Yeah,
it is okay. It's lovely. Okay. Oh, and then presents. I thought it was really funny because most of the articles I read was just that presents was an American thing of like capitalism and just like, let's celebrate and buy stuff, you know? I don't know if that's true, but that's like the consensus from what I got from these articles. So thank you to the Greeks and the Romans and the Germans and the Egyptians for our birthday celebrations today.
Yes, we appreciate it. Cake especially.
Cake especially. Okay. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry that this is just a tangent episode, but German chocolate cake, not German. Isn't that insane?
Where is it from?
It's from, oh my God, I Googled it while I was over there because I was like, did you notice that German chocolate cake is not on any of these menus? And
my gosh.
It was literally the last name of an American. I think he was an immigrant perhaps, but it was in some American, I think, oh shit, I forgot his first name, but his last name was German. And so that's why. And
like it wasn't a German last name. His last name was legitimately German.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Great clarification. Yes. His last name was like Maddie German. And so he created this cake. I can't remember exactly the origins or why he started it. It was something to do with like he discovered a new baking chocolate. And so it wasn't like you baked with chocolate, but it was like he created some different way that made it easier and more tasty and things like that. And it was literally, okay, maybe not literally, but it was in Dallas is what I found in the article, in all the articles. Like this guy was an immigrant. He moved to Dallas. He found this baking thing and then he called it German chocolate cake. And because I was like, what's the deal? Because German chocolate cake has coconut in it usually, like shredded coconut. And I was like, coconuts cannot be like a huge deal in Germany. Like, I don't think they're native. Yeah. And so then I looked that up and I was like, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Black Forest cake though is German. That does originate from the name the Black Forest in Germany. Okay.
Good to know.
Anyway, I know, wild.
Learning things today.
I would not have, like, I don't know. That would be like my name being Holly American.
Right?
Or Holly America.
That's funny. Yeah.
Anyway.
No, accurate. Interesting.
So, all right. So the next part is where Tom comes into the parks department and says they put up a fence and everybody's like, what the heck? There's a picture showing like a pretty vague piece of land, but basically they explain that there's a small park bordering Pawnee and Eagleton, and Eagleton has put up a fence so that we can separate the two. And there's even a security guard?
That's my favorite.
That's insane!
Why?
For what?
Where? Yeah, great question.
Are you going to steal? Maybe they're going to like vandalize it? I don't know.
And it's a high fence. It's not like people are going to be jumping over it, you know?
Yeah. Although I guess little Joey tried to scale it, so maybe that's why.
Yeah.
But it's so
little
strange.
Joey's dumb because there's nothing to hold on to on that fence.
Yeah, he is dumb. Even like, we'll get there, but I'm going to say it anyways right now. But like, even when his mom was like, my poor Joey did this, that, and the other. I'm like, why was he doing that though? Do you think about that?
Yeah.
Anyway.
I can bring I have my notes. Yeah. Anyway, yes.
And then you have to show an Eagleton ID to get in, which is weird. But yeah, it's just like another thing of being separated. That's really all it is. It's just like inequality.
So they give IDs to all their Eagleton people.
I know. I guess you just or
your driver's license with your address.
With the Eagleton address, yeah.
Yeah, but then kids aren't going to carry around driver's license.
That's true too. That's stupid.
That's stupid.
Anyway.
I also like this I don't know what it is. Is it like a thing we've been taught and conditioned? Is like anybody with 3 names is like immediately more fancy?
Yeah, that's true.
Like, because when they said Lindsay Carlisle Shay, I was like, that's such an Eagleton name.
Yeah. More fancy and like holier than thou. Yep, I hear you.
Weird.
I don't know that this is worth mentioning, but I'm going to say it anyway, that Tom's suits look better and more fitted than they were last time, because I remember last time I had seen that they were kind of baggy, but they look better
yeah.
now.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Donna's bragging, and well, bragging-ish kind of, but she was just saying Eagleton's a bunch of rich snobs, and that's coming from someone who owns a Mercedes. So we're bringing up the Mercedes again.
She loves her Benz, man.
Loves her Benz. But again, she's proving that, like, even though she's fancy, she doesn't have to be a bitch about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And she's not.
Yeah, she's not. I love Andy getting mad at Leslie saying Lindsay Carlisle Shay. And he doesn't even know who she is.
Yeah.
Who? I feel like April / Aubrey Plaza is definitely breaking in that moment. She's like smiling at him, and I think it's really funny.
I'll have to watch that again.
Oh my God. Well, we get a bit of an origin story here, like we talked about, that Lindsay Carlisle Shay and Leslie used to be BFFs, and they both worked at the Pawnee Parks department, but then she went to work in Eagleton, fixed her deviated septum, and basically became a new person. And she lost her soul, also by losing 35 pounds.
I looked up what the deviated septum is.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know. So that's a sideways displacement of the wall between the nostrils.
Mm-hmm.
So it like does that kind of situation.
Yeah.
And it makes it hard to breathe.
Yeah.
But I think it also makes your nose look kind of like crooked.
It does.
Which they did a phenomenal job in her before picture later.
Yeah.
Because if you look at her nose, it does look like she had a deviated septum.
Totally.
So
the only reason I know that is because Rachel on Friends had a deviated septum in the like before episode.
And that's why she gets her nose job.
Yes. So funny.
Love it. Yeah.
Leslie says that their side of the Pawnee Park, because Ben asks, like, is it really that much better? And she's like, to be fair, yeah, it is over there. Because the Pawnee side of the park is where kids go to smash fluorescent light tubes. I'm like, is that a thing? Like, what the F?
Listen, there was a period of time where people were eating Tide Pods.
That's
so
true.
I don't think it's that far out of reality that could be something that kids are doing there.
Oh my God. But it's got a lot of heart.
Yeah, it's got a lot of heart.
I love that.
That's what people say when something sucks.
Yeah, it's so true. And then Tom says Eagletonians are straight up mean to us, but it's the only place that he can get his Bumble and Bumble hair care products. So he goes there every 8 days.
Okay. Insanity. How much is he buying? Because, okay, I looked it up. Bumble and Bumble is real.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah,
I didn't know
it's
that.
a real.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a real company. It does sell hair care products. It sells a lot, like a lot of cosmetic type things. But the bottles, like that's what I was looking for. The bottles are like normal shampoo bottles. Like how often is he washing his hair?
What?
Like they're not like the giant ones you can get for like Tresemme or whatever. They're more like they're at least 32 ounces.
Yeah.
Why
Maybe
are you
he's
going
like
through that
using
much?
all the gel and like the sprays and all that stuff. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and here's my next question is also, he's wearing these really nice suits, right? And he has Bumble and Bubble hair care products. We learn later that he just loves expensive things. Mm-hmm. This hair stuff, he's going every 8 days. Let's remember that. Okay. It's $84 for 1 liter of shampoo and $60 for a curly hair kit.
Oh, dear.
So he's spending a lot of money.
Yeah.
So
man.
I'm also like, you're on a government salary.
He's
for
massively
Parks and
in
Rec.
debt.
Yeah, massively in debt.
Well,
So-
like when you know, this is kind of the start of when Ann is at his house and it's like all amenities and it's like soaps and chocolate covered
Yeah.
almonds and he's basically living in a hotel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my
that's Tom.
gosh.
So if people are interested in trying Bumble and Bumble, it's sold at Sephora and Ulta.
Oh,
and you can
sweet.
also buy it online.
Okay. I always love trying new things. I am going to get my hair did next weekend, and I'm looking forward to buying better products because there's this one there that they use called R & Co, and it's really helpful. Love
Yeah,
it.
I love how my hair feels when I get it. I
Yeah.
get it done.
I know. And I need to be better about actually using the product. Like not the shampoo and conditioner, but like, and I do use product, but it's not like the best kind. So I think I'm going to try to splurge on myself next weekend and get some like actual after shower stuff because it just like lasts so much longer and it makes you feel better. So I'm going to try to do that.
Yes. Treat yourself.
Treat yourself. Okay. Leslie is on Operation No More Fence, apparently. So now April is in charge of Operation Ron's party. And Ron overhears this and glares at April, basically. And I love this line so much because, and I don't mean to like be conceited or anything, but people have said this about me too, where Ron says one of Leslie's most annoying qualities is how thoughtful she can be. And I have since I've taken it down a notch. I really have. But sometimes it's really funny because I don't know. It's just funny.
Yeah. No, that's accurate.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it. I'm annoyed by it at all. I always love how thoughtful you are.
I think it's funny.
Yeah. I love that. I have a question. Is she pregnant here?
Oh, I don't know, but I can see what you're saying.
Yeah, because I don't know if it's just the way the shirt hits her or because it kind of flares out. It looks like she's pregnant. So I couldn't tell. Yeah, I couldn't tell she was
her first son in the first season, and now we're in season 3, so she might be.
Right, and remember,
but that would be right after.
Yeah, because weren't they recording things out of order so that she could take time off?
But that was for season 2. That was like in the middle of season 1 and 2, right?
Okay. I could be wrong then. Okay.
But she might be.
She just looks pregnant to me. Yeah. And it could also be because I know and I don't know how long she takes off after she has a kid, because I know sometimes it takes a little bit of time to get the weight off. So it could also just be
that's true.
Be that. But
or maybe it was between season 2 and 3 because I think Go Big or Go Home was also like one of the out of order ones or something. Oops. Let me see, because when did this episode come up again?
2010, right? That it was aired?
See. 2011. Oops.
Oh, 2011.
2011. And then Leslie. Oops. I almost put Leslie Polar. Oh, God. Okay. And then which show are they? Because there's this article that says, how did the show? Oh, Archie was born in 2008 and Abel was 2010. So she could have been pregnant in this one because 2010 might have been when they shot it.
Right.
So that would make sense, I feel. Yeah, Polar announced her second pregnancy in March 2010. And this was when she was obviously still with Will Arnett. Mm-hmm. But yeah, of course, Nope does have children eventually, but with the time jump, that happens between 6 and 7. Okay. It doesn't really say anything about, well, in this one, anyway, because I think all the other times we've talked about 2008. Mm-hmm. You know? But maybe not. Yeah. Maybe not. Maybe all the other times we have talked about was 2011. I don't know. Whatever. Either way, she was probably pregnant.
Yeah. If she wasn't, I'm so sorry, Amy Poehler. You don't look fat. Just right. I think it's just your shirt.
Yeah.
And I love you.
Yes, we love you so much. So this is when we have one of the most famous town halls, I feel. Not really, but a famous town hall,
but it's great.
Yes. It's so good. The one guy says where the kid's supposed to play. The rock quarry, there's rocks down there. Again, just being really, simple, I guess.
Yeah.
This guy's name, I think, is named Bob Elliott. I couldn't find anything else on IMDb or social media, but this is the only thing listed. So either way, good job, Bob. We love it.
Yep.
And then another dude suggests that we set it on fire. And Leslie's like, well, that's arson. But he's like,
let's leave that to the lawyers.
Yeah, exactly.
The point is it would work.
Exactly. Oh my God. And this actor's name is Bruce Green. He's been in True Grit, Supernatural, a bunch of other things. It looks like he does a lot of like fantasy fairy type things, which is really cool. And I could totally see that with his look. And there is a Bruce Green on Instagram that I found that's in the entertainment industry, but I don't think that's him. So I'm not really sure. I think that guy is a content creator. But anyway.
Yeah, this guy does a great job. I think, because he comes back and he has one more line about it.
Right.
And he's just,
I'm just going to suggest again that we burn it down.
Yeah.
Amy Poehler.
Great.
Yep. Great. Cool. Oh yeah, this guy that comes back, obviously, Mike Scully, our friend. He's a recurring town hall person, which we love. The one that says we should put a fence around their fence. Friendly reminder, Mike Scully is the one who is a writer on Parks and Rec, but he's also super known for The Simpsons, and Everybody Loves Raymond. Plus, he also, I think he produces, but I believe he also writes on Duncanville, which is that animated show that him and Amy Poehler created. I haven't actually watched it yet, but I would love to.
I haven't either.
He's also a producer on Parks, obviously. He wrote the first Ron and Tammy episode and The Possum. Plus, I always say, I always say this, but he's the one that had the pig, the Tom Selleck pig in the Grizzle episode. But and he didn't have a name in like the other previous episodes that we've seen him in town halls until this one. And his name is Pearl in this episode.
Okay. All
Which
right.
is really funny.
It is.
And I think if I'm remembering this correctly, Alan Yang said that line about the pants getting caught. I'm pretty positive that was kind of like an improv that he kind of was making up when Amy Poehler's like, why? Like, why would that be a good idea? So, yeah, good job, Mike Scully.
Yes, that was beautiful.
Okay.
Beautiful nonsense.
Yes, beautiful nonsense, so dumb. And he kind of like knows it too as he's saying it. I love the way he plays it.
Yeah.
And then this lady says her son Joey got hurt. This is where Joey comes in, trying to scale the fence. And like I said, even before we learn about what Joey actually did at the Eagleton town hall, I'm like, why was he trying to climb the fence? Like, that's already bad, right?
Yeah.
But
and how old do we think this kid is that he's out at the park by himself unsupervised?
I don't know. I was going to say he was like 10.
Yeah, I feel like that's too young.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't know. My thought is that he's probably with like friends and like other hoodlums, like Pacitis or something.
Yeah, no, I can see that. But I'm also like, and I'll get to this later too, but it's also like, you're the mom. Why were you not there?
Yeah.
Like 10 is young to me to be, not supervised at all. Like you can just leave your house and go to the park.
Yeah.
Especially with all the like, I don't mean to get like negative, but in my job I see a lot of this shit, like especially with the sex trafficking and the kidnapping that goes on right now. Like, there's no freaking way my kid at 10 years old is going to be going to the park by themselves.
Interesting.
So that's one thing I have to say, and I agree with you. The second thing is why are we scaling the fence?
Maybe she wasn't there, or maybe she was there. I mean,
okay, and if she was there, why are you letting your kid fucking scale the fence?
Maybe he did it. Like, I'm playing devil's advocate, but maybe he
no,
was,
please do.
Maybe he did it
I'm
too
jaded because of my job.
I know. I was just gonna say maybe he did it too late, or she
saw it late,
too late, or whatever.
Yeah. Which is fair, because at 10, I would still take my kid to the park, but I wouldn't feel like I needed to watch their every single movement.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's fair.
And maybe, I don't know, again, I'm just being stupid, but maybe Pawnee is like a place where she feels like, whatever, like they're not going to get into any craziness, even though like it's a small town and like that is not the case for anywhere. It's really just like, you can get into trouble anywhere is what I mean to say.
Yeah, you really
can.
I mean? Yeah.
But I think from her perspective, just like sticking up for moms, whatever. But I feel like from her perspective, she's more just like, if that fence wasn't there, then he couldn't have tried to do that anyway,
Right. Well, and I put myself again in the mom's shoes of, even if she did everything right, why does my kid not have access to that park?
Right. Yeah.
Like, why is your kid better than my kid?
Right.
Just because I live in a different city.
Right.
So I understand her frustration 100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just also...
I know. I hear you. It's nice to hear both sides. But she's like, okay, you need to get them to tear that fence down. This actress's name is Virginia Louise Smith. She's been in Jack and Jill, which is the Adam Sandler movie, which I was not familiar with until I saw it on IMDb, unfortunately. I do love Adam Sandler's movies.
I heard it was no bueno. That's what I heard.
What is? Oh, the movie?
Yeah.
Okay. Either way. She's also been in Scandal, American Crime Story, many others. And Joey is played by Harry Boxley is his name, and he is a full-grown adult right now. I looked at his pictures and stuff, and I was like, oh my God, you are, I don't know if he was like 10 or 11 then, and it's been like, how many years has it been?
How old is he? It's been 13 now.
Okay, so he's probably at least 23 or 24. I would imagine. I didn't look at how old he was, but anyway, I was looking at his IMDb to reach out, and I was like, no way, because he looks so much older now. But anyway, he's in a lot of stuff. Most things I'm not familiar with because a lot of it is Disney. There's a show called Kickin' It that he was on that he's really well known for, but he was also on The Goldbergs, which is a good show. Marin, which is interesting. I watched that show, but I don't really remember him being in it. But to be fair, I only watched it, I think, one time through. Love Mark Maron.
What is Marin?
It's Mark Maron's show. He's a comedian, stand-up, the one that I saw in DC last year.
Okay.
He also has a podcast called WTF, and it's really funny. But he had a show on IFC, and I wish that it was continued, but, what are you going to do? Shows are crazy.
Sad times.
But apparently he's also a writer, and he writes a ton of horror movies. So that's kind of cool.
The kid?
Yeah.
Oh, good for you, bro.
I know. And he lives
did a
in
great job.
Yeah, I think so too. And he lives in London now, according to his IMDb. So he's British American, which is really interesting. I guess one of his either his I didn't look into it that far, but either his parents are British or he got citizenship. I don't know.
Just lived there long enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
All that stuff. Each country is super different about how they allow that.
Totally.
So, interesting. That's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I like both of them.
Besides what I say about this is all like character stuff and my judgment.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with them. I think they both did a great job.
Oh, totally. Oh my God, of course. No need to explain. That's true. We have to be critiquing, you know? I mean, we don't have to be, but
I'm so jaded.
It's nice to do that.
It's my problem. Yeah.
No, I think that's good. I think that you're right, though. At 10 years old, I'm trying to think of where I was. I don't think my mom would let me do that. I mean, maybe if we were at like a football game or something. And
you're in fourth grade. Put that in, if that helps. You're in fourth grade.
Yeah.
When you're 10.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I agree. If I went to my brother's baseball game, as long as my mom could see me, that was fine.
Yeah.
But I was never leaving my home.
Right.
And walking to a park, even nearby.
Yeah.
Without my mom.
You know what? Yeah, I was going to say I would do that. Okay, now we're getting way in the weeds. But I was going to say I would do that at my dad's house, but my dad wasn't like involved, I feel. Like I would tell him, but he'd be like, okay, fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, but this mom seems to be involved. So anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Leslie says she's going to tear down that fence, similar to tearing down the Berlin Wall, which is hilarious to me. And then this is when the arson guy comes back and is like, I'm just going to suggest this one more time. So dumb. So funny.
It's the easiest option.
Right.
I don't know why they didn't do it.
And then we're back at the office, and April is calling. She's on the phone asking about inflatable saxophones, making it seem like she's going to order a bunch for the party, which, by the way, she says...
amazing.
Yeah, it's so good. And she says, I don't know if this was for... Which, by the way, neon gangster fedora hats is another thing, which I think is so funny, the name of that. But, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, she had... she says 40 dozen of one of them. 40 dozen? That's
a lot.
So much. Like, that really freaks out Ron, because that is... Yikes.
Yeah. I love that. Do you have parking at your house?
Right.
No.
I don't even have a
my
house
isn't.
basically.
That's later, though, I think.
Yeah, but still.
But yeah, I think that's why it's also scary, because he heard the 40 dozen.
Right.
And then it's like, no,
Oh my God.
I don't like this. I love this line. I would never make a work-related call. You know that.
I know. I love that line, too. It's so good.
It's great.
All right. Then the moment of truth. We are finally meeting Lindsay Carlisle Shay, and this awkward hug thing happens where, like, they hug, but they put each other's hands down. I mean, it's so good and so awkward.
Oh, so well acted. 100%.
So I have a bit of a character breakdown before we talk about the scene. Lindsay Carlisle Shay, like we talked about, is played by Parker Posey. She's a huge actress, super funny, amazing improv background, all that good stuff. I first saw her on the Cameron Diaz, Christina Applegate, and Selma Blair movie called The Sweetest Thing. Have you ever heard of that movie?
I haven't.
Oh my God, you gotta watch it. It's so funny. It's one of those like early 2000s like love story, but also like for me personally, I guess I watched it when I was too young because there's a lot of sex and whatever, but it's kind of like Sex in the City. And to me, as a young person watching it, or a young woman, I guess, watching it, it was one of the first movies that I saw that really put women in the driver's seat of like their own sexuality and like how much they wanted to like. And obviously I'm getting way too deep, whatever. It's a comedy, okay? It's not like moral, like female empowerment or whatever. But for me as a young person watching it, I was like, oh my gosh, these ladies are like so in charge of their own love lives and like doing their like good job things or having as much sex as they want. They're like into it. And it's just like, and then we learn a lot of like, what's her name? Cameron Diaz is the main one in this, and she like falls in love with this guy. But anyway, so it's just like really hilarious to me. And there's a montage in it, which is hilarious and great. So anyway, Parker Posey was in that for a brief moment, and she was so good, so funny. But she's also been in New Girl, Scream 3. I don't remember her being in New Girl, but she was.
Yes. So I had to sit there for a minute, but I remember. Do you remember when Schmidt comes back after breaking his penis and he throws himself a party?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
At Nick's bar. You remember the shot girl?
No. But that was
Yeah,
her.
so Jess gets fired from teaching. And so she's feeling like she has no purpose. And so Schmidt says she can be a shot girl.
Oh.
And she's really awful as a shot girl. The other shot girl, who's like a very experienced stripper or something, that's Parker Posey.
Oh my God, that's so crazy.
Yeah. You should go back and watch it because
I
she
will.
does a great job in that role too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll definitely will. She's also in Scream 3. Thank you for explaining that to us all. Dazed and Confused. Superman Returns. I didn't know that. And she's also in a ton of dramatic stuff, but she's really great with comedy. Apparently, her and Amy Poehler were really close friends, and Amy was like, we'll get you on the show. Like, even before they had started filming for the first season. Like, they were friends. And somehow... Parker said that she was really interested, but like I read on a couple of different websites that Parker was kind of like frustrated because it had been 3 seasons already. And she was like, why am I not on the show yet? And again, this is all conjecture and articles that I read, but finally they got her on. But they were also in this movie, which I thought I had seen / heard of everything that Amy Poehler has done, but I guess I haven't because they were in this movie called Spring Breakdown with Rachel Dratch in 2009. And Parker Posey, so it's Parker Posey, Rachel Dratch, and Amy Poehler. And that's when that was 2009, which was a year before they started filming for Parks. And so that's when she was like, oh my gosh, I want to be on that show. And Amy Poehler's like, oh yeah, we'll get you on there somehow. Which is so crazy. And so we got to watch that movie, I guess.
Yeah. No, and I mean, whether their frustrations right, like accurate or not for Parker Posey, like I don't think there was a female role before now.
Yeah.
That I would have put her in. Like, I think she does a
true.
phenomenal job at playing Lindsay Carlisle Shay.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that they might have like, built this for her. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I can see that.
And that's a great,
all the
like
scenes with Leslie.
Yeah, totally. And so her, Dratch, and Amy Poehler have like, done improv and everything together. So like Leslie, I read somewhere that Amy Poehler was like, it'll be so great to play like the opposites of each other kind of thing. So that's cool. But anyway, so now we're back to where the weird hug thing. Lindsay is clearly holier than thou. Basically Marsha Langman, except like not religious, I feel. She just thinks she's better than everyone. And
so accurate. Watching
it the first time, I was like, oh, she's so terrible. Then I watched it a second time and I was like, fuck you. I was so mad. She brings out hand sanitizer, says it's really grimy, like just constantly calling, like insulting everybody, calling Dan or Ben Dan and saying it doesn't matter, it won't come up again.
It won't come up again. Yeah, I hate that line so much.
Oh my God.
It's just the blatant disregard.
Yeah.
For other people.
Yeah.
And this place, like whether you like it or not, is your home.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's you can not like it and you can not like things about it. Everybody has something about their hometown that they're not super stoked about.
Yeah.
But like that, it just feels so evil.
Yeah.
To me.
Which clearly, obviously, stems from insecurity and awful, just...
But also, who hurt you?
Yeah, dude. Like, what? Oh, my God. But Parker, I mean, to her credit, Parker Posey plays it so funnily, too. It's so good. But when you really think about... And this is all shows, but especially Parks, for me anyway, it's like... Even Ron Swanson, like in the show, it's fucking hilarious. If that was a real person, which there are many real persons like Ron Swanson,
like that.
Scary,
Yeah. Yeah.
At least in the first couple seasons, he gets better. But anyway.
Yeah.
All right. So Leslie says that Anne is her BFF now and a nurse and works in a hospital. Lindsay's like says, "Oh, you must be so tired and sad." Oh my God.
So I have a question.
Yes.
Do we think we're not going to know unless there's a deleted scene that I missed. Does Leslie have Anne there for any particular reason? Like, do we think this is malicious? Like she has Anne there to kind of rub it in Lindsay's face and be like she's so nervous about seeing Lindsay again. She wants to have Anne there as like a, look, I replaced you. Like I'm fine thing. Or was Anne already there and it just happened to be the timing?
Great question. I didn't think of it that way. I think that for me, when I was watching it, it was more of like, here's all the Parks people and here's my BFF for moral support. But I didn't see it as malicious. But now that you say that, it probably was at least 5%. Like, this is my best friend now, not you.
Yeah.
you know?
Even just to make her feel better. Like you're saying, that moral support, but also like that little nugget of...
Totally. I think so.
So I feel like in this episode, Leslie embodies how most of us, and you can correct me if you feel like you feel differently, but this is how I feel like. I feel like she embodies in this episode how I wish I could respond when I'm frustrated with people's behavior.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Like she's the acting like a teenager. And sometimes I just want to react like a teenager.
Yeah,
and then I have to be like, you're an adult. You have to be a role model for people. You can't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Especially at the trash dump thing or whatever.
100. That's the scene I'm thinking about specifically.
It's such an escalation, you know, because in this scene, for sure, they did such a good job. And they talk about this in improv all the time, but especially with writing, like comedy writing, it's just like you're at level A, then B, then C, then D. Then how do we get all the way to level F and go crazy, you know?
Yeah. Yeah,
and like
100%.
kind of unexpected. But yeah, I could see that for sure.
Yeah.
Even April is annoyed, and April doesn't like anyone, but like, you know, or like doesn't really care about much, but she's like holds up those scissors menacingly as they walk to the courtyard, which is really hilarious.
Yeah, I love it.
Lindsay Carlisle Shay says she does a lot of charity work in Pawnee, but there's only so much you can do.
Again, I hate it.
It's awful. Oh, God. And then Leslie gives her this photo, which is the best thing ever because you can, like you said, you can def tell her nose has changed. Yep. And it just says jazz on her sweatshirt. I don't know if you noticed
she looks happier. Can I just
she looks so much happier and so much like cuter and fun. That's such a great point. Yeah. And you know what? This, again, tangent episode. So sorry. But not sorry. TikTok
we have thoughts and feelings. It's fine.
Yes, exactly. TikTok has been doing a really good job lately, at least on my algorithm, of like really fit people saying like this is not sustainable. This is like it's like Olympians or it's like people that do working out for like a living or like whatever. They're like this is not sustainable. Just FYI, and also or like people gaining weight and saying I'm so much happier now than I was when I was like a size 2, X, Y, and Z. So I think that's a really good like reminder from this as well.
Yeah, no, 100%, because I feel like we're finally getting into that headspace where people are seeing that mental health is starting to climb and it's starting to be more important to people. Because there's a difference between being skinny and how people want you to look and being healthy. Because everybody always looks at, well, if I lose 30 pounds, I'll be healthy. Yeah, but are you happy?
Right.
Is that gonna make you happier? Like, I think that I'm really happy that you're saying that, you know, grow more, because I think this is a perfect example.
Totally.
She's lost weight here. Yeah. She has a nose that she's probably prouder of, but is she actually happy?
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes like inner, like, peace does start from the outside. I know that we're taught that it doesn't, but sometimes it does. Like if you get your hair done or your nails done, sometimes it makes you feel better on the inside.
100%.
But that's not the point here in this particular instance.
Because, well, like you're saying, it's not sustainable, right? Like, if I'm having a bad day or a bad week, of course I'm going to go get my nails done because I'm going to feel like a little bit fancier and a little bit better. But can you afford to do that every day? You're feeling shitty.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, and when I work out, like, cause you know, I work out every day and because I want to be healthy and I would like to be a similar form that I've been for the last 10 years or whatever. But really what it is for me, it's mental health. I completely feel different. If I don't go to the gym in the morning, I'm a completely different person throughout the day. Yeah. So it's, you know, it's gotta be fueling that outward, where it starts on the outside is still fueling something for the inside.
Yeah.
You know?
Totally. And Lindsay has lost her way a tiny bit.
And with all the Leslie, fancy clothes and...
Oh, yeah. Yeah. With that line, especially of like, if you just change everything about yourself. So Leslie brings up Lafayette Park and she really tries to level with Lindsay and she really tries to be humans and like work together. And she's like, parks are for everyone. That's what we loved about parks. And like, this isn't you. And then Lindsay goes wild saying, you know what's really great? A private park. That's not for everybody. And I love Leslie's wowzers.
Yeah.
That's yikes.
Yeah. But I think she didn't realize how bad it was.
I do too.
Leslie.
I do too.
Until this moment.
To think about it, really, I mean, this is the ultimate betrayal. the ultimate betrayal, I feel, because like you said, you not only are you now with my enemy Eagleton, but also we were like BFFs and we loved something so dear, and now you're not even my friend. Like, you're not only insulting Pawnee, but you're insulting me. And that's really shitty, because especially at the end, which is the worst line that she says, which I'll get there when we get there. Because first she says, Leslie says, someone once told me there was no such thing as small parks, just small ideas. And that someone was this woman. We learned that Leslie has like so many pictures.
4 million of those.
And a JPEG. I love that last line.
I love it too.
Again, this is where we get to that really awful thing where the audience really starts to kind of like even more so turn on Lindsay when she says she says Pawnee is a dirty little nightmare from which you'll never wake up. Like, what a stab. That hurts me. Yeah.
Because Leslie does find happiness and pride in Pawnee.
Yeah, which I love. Yeah. Also, love is a strong word, but I just think it's so funny when people in real life say / preface their next sentence with "in the nicest way possible." I mean,
or no offense,
or I mean this in the nicest way possible, and then they go on. Or like we used to. This was like I remember in college we used to always, and this is stupid, but we always said people still do it, but when they say just saying, like it's not a big deal, just saying. And I'm just,
I remember
that's
that.
basically just like code for this is the really bad thing that I'm going to say to you, but like, oh well,
Yeah.
Like I'm going to pretend like I'm not being mean, but I'm really being mean. And it's just like, it really hurts Leslie so much. And I just like, and you can see, I mean, obviously you can't see from, I guess, Leslie's point of view, or I mean, Leslie can't see this maybe, but you can really see like how hard Lindsay is trying to be someone else.
A bitch.
Yeah, and to be so insulting. Like,
yeah.
It's insane. But I love this talking head where she has her comeback. It's so relatable. Like, always thinking of the comeback after the insult has like long passed.
I literally wrote down, that's me. Mm-hmm. That is 100% me. I suck at that.
Yeah.
I'm so late. Like, people say things to me and I'm just like, I'll just take it. And then 10 minutes later, I'm like, damn it.
I know. Well, the worst part about that is that I think it comes with practice, number one. But number two, in this instance, where I think a lot of people have trouble, is when you're just so in shock. You have like no
100%.
headspace to think about anything at all except for the shock and the hurt. It's crazy.
That just came out of someone's mouth. And someone that you used to love and connect with. Like, I put myself in the shoes. I know this will never happen to us because we are forever. But if we like went 5 years down the road and we had this separation and you said that to me, my heart would break.
Yikes.
You know?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I just think about it that way too. Like, you're right. Like, that shock, I think, is a huge piece of it. But I also think that her heart's breaking.
Mm-hmm. Totally. Lindsay needs some therapy.
Correct.
Which also, I think it's funny that they named her Lindsay and Leslie is Leslie. Like, they both have L names and like ends with an E. Like, they're very similar BFFs kind of situation, which was funny. I don't know if that was on purpose, but whatever.
Could have been. They do so many things on purpose.
I know.
It's ridiculous.
Okay, so now we're at the Eagleton Town Hall, and it's insane. There is champagne, crazy food, an omelet station, a valet. Leslie talks about how they have a cupcake factory, so it smells like vanilla all the time. Which is
unnamed cupcake factory. I did look that up. I tried to see if there was like an actual like name for it. No, it's unnamed. I did want to say, I did look up because I was interested, and it's not very much information, but Eagleton borders Pawnee and is northwest of Pawnee. There was an episode in the first or second season where they said Eagleton was 2 towns over.
Oh, yes.
So just to call back that it's actually borders Pawnee.
Correct.
And like I said, northwest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I think they talked about that in the podcast too, where they were like, oops.
Our bad.
Whoops.
But then the other piece I wanted to note is that according to a census from 2010, they have 9,500 people.
Eagleton does?
Yes.
Wonder how much Pawnee has.
That's literally what I'm looking at right now because I'm really mad at myself that I didn't look that up when I wrote down that Eagleton had.
I bet it's smaller. Maybe not.
I mean, So it could go
Maybe
either
not,
way,
since
right?
Eagleton's so like exclusive. Yeah, I don't know.
Yes. 60 to 80,000 for Pawnee.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So and
they're
that
bigger.
checks out because, like you said, it's Eagleton's more exclusive.
Yeah, and you can't afford to live there anyway.
Yeah, they probably have a tax bracket you have to be in before you can
That's true.
live there. Stupid.
Oh my God.
I hate that.
Well, love that information. That's really cool to know.
Yeah.
This town hall in Eagleton was apparently shot at the Toluca Lake Sports Center in Toluca Lake, LA, which is in the valley. So that's cool if anyone wants to drive by there. And then I love this too, that we learned that Eagleton was actually founded by a Pawneean. All the wealthy people evacuated Pawnee because of the smell of Pawnee. I love the kind of like historical tone she takes on with like finding the smell uncharming or finding the smell bad or whatever the hell they moved to. And she kind of fizzles because she's like, oh, that's bad.
Yeah. But it is what it is.
Yeah. And I was going to say, when I was watching this episode, they do, obviously we've talked about this a lot. They do such a good job of making this relatable to so many people. Like, I love this whole commentary on town rivalries because it's so real. Even in my small ass hometown, in Fauquier County, which is where I'm from, if you're from the southern part of California, if you're from the southern part of the county, you don't really love the northern part of the county. And it's for this very reason that, and my mom talks about it all the time because she's born and raised, like literally born and raised there and in the southern part of the county. And she thinks that people in the northern part of the county are rich and they like fancy things and they're like schools are better and X, Y, and Z. And they look down their nose at us because they think that we are like these podunk, middle of nowhere people, you know, backwater people. And even like, which I think there might be some truth to that in some circumstances, but other circumstances, I think it's kind of like, which is what Leslie is like. There is some truth to it, but there's also a lot of just like old tradition of hate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But even in Nashville, like, it's insane. Like, Nashville obviously is its own thing, like, whatever. But when I first moved here, I worked in Brentwood, which is, you know, only like 20 minutes south of Brentwood, but it's very more suburb. It's very its own thing. And when I worked there, some of the people there were like, oh, I'm not going into Nashville. Like, it's too much. It's like, it's too crowded. Like, I just can't. And I'm like, what? It's literally, and like they acted like it was far away. I was like, it's literally 20 minutes away. It's not that crowded if you don't go downtown. Like, what? But I understand from a certain perspective because I get like they already have everything they need down there, like their malls and whatever. But I'm just like, don't act like it's lesser than, you know, or whatever you think it is. And Brentwood is the fancier part of the area and Franklin and all like the expensive old money situation, which Nashville is too, but Brentwood is more. So it's just like really funny that it's like it's the same area. There are parts of Brentwood that are even in Davidson County, okay? So like, which is what Nashville is in. So like, what are you talking about? So
yeah,
I just think it's
funny. This is so true. I didn't even grow up in the States, and I grew up in a different country, but we didn't have like rivalries, obviously, because we're not native there, right? But we had a rivalry with a different school. And so it was like, if anybody else was from that school, like, there's just, like, I feel like we thrive on it.
Yeah.
Like, we thrive on competition.
Yeah.
And just, I feel like everywhere.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's interesting.
But then we get back to Lindsay Carlisle Shay being so disrespectful. Like, can you imagine telling someone that they have a million flyaways or offering them a self-help book, like with that tone, and you look like you've been working hard? Like, oh my God.
Now, I would like to point out, I would say either of these things to a close friend who was really hurting and, oh, if somebody asked
in a nicer tone.
Yes, not like this. That's what I'm saying is like, if you were like, okay, how do I look? I'm about to take my headshot. I'd be like, well, you have a million flyaways. Let's get let's, put it together. Or, somebody who's like really struggling with a breakup. Okay, well, let me recommend some self-help books. Like,
this is where your intention comes in.
Yeah, that's where 100% the intention, because these are things a real friend would say to another real friend, but not like a bitch.
Yeah. So, not trying to hurt you.
Yeah. And I had that written down because I was like, I love these ideas, but like, why you got to be an ass about it?
Right.
Like,
she's, really trying to get under Leslie's skin. And then she makes this comment about Leslie not having her job because we later learn a secret that we'll talk about later.
Mm-hmm.
But before we do that, April is asking Ron how the street parking is, like we were talking about. Is it enough for 20 people or a double-decker party bus?
Yeah.
I love that. Do you have space for like a huge circus tent? Oh my God. And then he spots Anne with the balloons and pops all of them.
That makes my heart so sad because it's for somebody at the hospital.
But to be fair, why did Anne carry them into the city hall?
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Great question.
Get for the story purposes why she did. I love that the balloons though say "Happy Birthday, Tyrone." That was a really interesting little detail.
That is a
Super
nice
cute.
touch.
I like
Good
that.
touch. Yeah.
All right, so now we're back at the Eagleton Town Hall. This guy's name apparently is Bertram Rowland, which I think, again, like you said with Lindsay Carlisle Shay, like even the names are fancier and they're like from an English territory or something.
Bertram
Rowland.
Why?
Also, don't you think that the casting was so good? Like these Eagleton people and the costumes and wardrobes and everything, they just look fancier. Their bone structure is beautiful and perfect and it's insane.
Yeah. No, they did a great job.
Yeah. I wanted to point out, too, Bertram is played by Todd Stanton. He's been in We Bought a Zoo, which I never watched that movie, but I feel like my mom did, and I think she liked it. Is it bad?
It's Matt Damon. I haven't seen it, but it's Matt Damon.
Okay.
And
yeah.
I condone anything
silly
Matt
to me,
Damon does.
But then I was like, maybe it's good. I don't know. 2.5 Men he was also in. He's also a voiceover actor, and he was in the Deadpool video game. I thought that was interesting.
Oh, that is interesting.
And I just love the writing on this, that there's applause every time an Eagleton person stands up and introduces themselves or literally says anything at all. It's just like, oh, they're so
shows
good.
you more how, like, freaking into themselves they are.
Yeah. Like, everyone here is so perfect.
Yeah.
And then this dude, Bertram, says, well, can't you just clean up your side of the park or like make it nicer, put some new equipment in there? And Leslie's like, well, that would be great. We'd love to, but money is tight right now.
Yeah.
And they don't understand that.
Yeah, but I think also, like, well, this isn't how they think, though. It's like, oh, well, you know what? We would love to loan you a little bit of money to keep your part of the park clean.
Which is what Leslie does. Well, from a lot of like...
Well, Ben does it.
Really. But Leslie had to pull the plug, so anyway.
She did. Yeah, I'll give her
totally.
that.
This would be a great opportunity to like work together. Ugh.
But God forbid, man. God forbid.
Then we have... Sad. I know, it makes me sad too. Then we have Christine Porter, who is despicable and gross also. I hate again, this is where they do that thing, like the... I say this in the nicest way possible because she says respectfully. She's like, respectfully, blah, blah, blah. It's not respectful. Shut up. Okay?
No. Yeah.
She says that it's a punishment and it might inspire Pawnee to clean up its act. And people applaud that.
Yeah.
Ew. She did a great job, though. Her name is Tina Marasco, this actress name. She's also a voiceover actress, which is really cool. She's also been in King of Queens, Jane the Virgin, Castle, 2.5 Men, CSI. Like, she's been in a ton of stuff. Apparently, she was also in the OC, which is so cool.
That is really cool.
But I don't remember her episode because I think she was in season 3, and that is, I think, when Marissa might not have been in it. I feel like that was only
like
first 2 seasons.
She died at the end of season 3 or the middle of season 3.
I feel like she died at the end of season 2. No,
did she?
Am I crazy?
No, you know what? I only watched the show once, so I will 100% default.
Maybe you're right. No, maybe you're right. Maybe it was season 3. Either way, I didn't really watch season 3 that much.
I just feel like season 3 for a lot of shows is like the peak season, and then it dies after that. Some of them do, or they're just not. You know, like season 3 is the peak season. That's why it makes me think that.
I lived for the OC. Like, I loved that show so much in high school. I watched it every single time it came on. I asked for the DVDs for Christmas, and I got them. And I had them all.
That's awesome.
I know for a while, I don't know if it still is, but I know for a while it was on HBO, and I was watching it. And oh my God, it just brought such nostalgia. Love it so much. It's perfect. Anyway. Ben's face to camera when all the Eagleton people are talking is really hilarious. He's so confused. I will say that this episode in particular is such a Ben to camera episode. Like, he looks to camera so often because he's so like confused and distraught.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if he's experienced that even coming from Indianapolis. He's like, what
Yeah.
Why
like,
are
what
these
is this
people so
madness?
proud of their tiny ass town?
Right.
So yeah, it's interesting. I have a note from like just before, just that I forgot to say, is that when Tom introduces himself as Tom Montgomery Halford.
Oh yeah.
Which I thought was a made up way to sound more fancy than he is, but I looked it up and that's what they credit his name on
Like Parks Wiki.
the Parks and Rec wiki. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they took it from that episode and they're just like, that's his fucking middle name, I guess, or if that's like actually his middle name.
Right.
I was intrigued by that. I was like, I bet you made that up to sound fancy because that's Montgomery's a fancy name to me.
Right.
So
yeah, I mean, even if he called himself Thomas Haverford, it would even be more like fancy.
True.
But I think he was just trying to add a middle name because she had a middle name. Like, you know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Lindsay Carlisle. Yeah.
That's
Yeah, I
really
get that.
funny. That's a good note. Leslie says any child should be able to play in any park, regardless of wealth or status. And then she starts applauding herself.
I would applaud that.
I would too.
The sentiment's so sweet.
Me too.
And I agree. I don't think being a kid, like regardless of what family you should be able to play. That's like a right as a child. I don't understand.
Yeah, 100%. She tells Joey Plunkett to wave to the audience. Oh, you can't. Because you broke your arm.
I can wave with this hand.
No, you can't. Both your arms are broken. It's so funny.
Yeah, that's so funny to me. And
And
this is where
then-
we learn.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's awful. Like you were going to say, and we've already talked about it, but like basically this other Eagletonian says that Joey was caught selling fireworks to Eagleton kids. And that's terrible. But at the same time, Eagleton kids were buying them. So aren't we all to blame?
100%. Yeah, 100%. My other piece is, though, that I have to say, and the only reason I caught this is because I've dealt with this. Why did the mom not question more around the situation? Just because I have this happen a lot where the mom will come to me and like, well, this is what happened at school and this and this and this and this. You need to come to this school meeting with me. I'm like, okay. And then I get in there and I start asking questions. And then we learn that the kid actually gave the middle finger to someone or whatever. And it's like, all right. So part of me understands as a mom, your heart is 100% in that kid. Mm-hmm. So you don't want them to be wrong or doing something wrong. But like ask more questions, get curious.
Mm-hmm.
Like that we solve half our problems when we get really curious about things. Mm-hmm. But I will say good momness, because when she does notice and she does hear that he was selling fireworks, she immediately is like reprimanding him. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, I know. Yeah. I guess her immediate reaction was just like, well, he broke his arm, so we need to fix it, and not really ask him. But yeah, that's a great point. This is again terrible. Lindsay Carlisle Shay is like, see, this is better proving how we can help you. Here's to Joey and your mother. And this is that line, and to every Pawnean who can have a better future if they fundamentally change everything about themselves. Blech. And to Leslie Knope, isn't she trying her hardest? So cute. Did you hear that?
Yes, I fucking hate that. I don't want to be called cute. Like, no.
Especially
like,
when it's in such a demeaning way.
In that moment,
so terrible.
Just in case people can't hear on the other side, I am rolling my eyes heavily.
Yes.
During this whole scene.
Oh my God. Just someone that you used to be so close with. I mean, yikes. Like, people just change so much with such severe pain, you know?
Well, and power. What does power do to people?
Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
So,
anyway.
I don't know, man.
Well, now Ron is asking Anne what's going on with his birthday, and she actually has no idea. I just really love that when she says, like, when he says, first of all, Anne is like, I don't work for you, because Ron's like, come here. And then she's like, shut your damn mouth when she says happy birthday. And she's like, this is a fun conversation. Like, she gets kind of smacked down in this episode. Like, first Lindsay's mean to her, then Ron says, shut your damn mouth. Like,
yep.
But really, she hasn't heard anything about Ron's birthday. And then she says what Leslie did for Anne's birthday, and it sounds so awful to Ron because it's like his worst nightmare of like bouncy castles and face painting. I want my face painted like a fairy tiger. I think that would be fun.
I will pay someone to do that for your birthday this year.
Maybe I should do an Anne Perkins party for my next birthday.
I think that sounds amazing.
I think it does too, like a kid birthday party kind of, but like for adults.
But
alcohol.
yeah, you could add a drinking game in there easy.
100%.
Easy.
Okay, that's
I
what
can make that happen.
Okay, back at the Eagleton Town Hall, Ben is caught eating the food, and I think it's really funny because he's like,
not you too.
Right. It's gross. I don't even like it.
Yeah.
And then we learn that there's a public forum gift bag, and there's an iPod Touch in there. Like, what the F? How?
This is why they go bankrupt later. Spoiler alert.
Exactly. I think that is so true.
Yeah.
Then we learn this origin story where Ben's finally like, what actually happened between you two? Like, I know you guys work together, but there has to be something more. And Leslie says that she was offered Lindsay's job, but she turned it down because they both made a pact to stay together. And Lindsay just like straight up abandoned her. Like, I don't know.
That's what makes it worse. Like if I said no and then you were like, well, I'll take it, then it's like I said no. So that's on you to take it. But if we made a pact to stay and do it together and then you just leave, that's so shitty. And the other piece of it is Lindsay, I don't remember when she says this, but she says, you knew you couldn't handle it. If there's anyone who could handle that job.
Yeah.
Come
100%. On. Oh my God. Did they even talk about what the job was? It was I think it was the I thought it was the director of the Parks and Rec. Oh, okay. So basically
Eagleton.
Ron's job, but Eagleton.
That's what I thought it was. I don't know if that's accurate.
No, I think that's right. But yeah, I mean, I feel like if they had talked about it or something, obviously knowing Leslie, she probably wouldn't have even like understood that even, but you know, still it's awful.
Yeah. Agreed.
So now, Ron wants Chris to send Leslie somewhere so that she can't be planning a birthday celebration, like freeze their bank accounts, all this stuff.
This is so elaborate.
I know. It's so funny because Chris is like, you can tell me anything, like what's going on. And Ron tells him, and it like blows up in his face because Chris kisses Ron. Apparently, that was not scripted. They said that was just Rob Lowe really loving Nick Offerman, and I thought that was so funny.
Yeah, I can see that not being scripted.
Yeah. And Ron wants to leave and go home, but he's like, wait, unless that's what she wants me to do.
Right.
He's totally spiraling.
Yeah. I have to say, part of you is like, Leslie, why are you doing this to him, man?
I know.
But it's his birthday. Why are you doing this? But the other part of it is I think that because he's so on edge the whole time, it makes the end result that much sweeter.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I think it's so cute.
So
there is a whole deleted scene where Ron breaks into this big meeting that Chris is having, and he makes the meeting go on for like a bajillion years so that like they can avoid so that he can avoid being anywhere else, basically. And Chris is like, the meeting's over. And the only reason I'm mentioning this is because Ron is saying like, no, it's not over. And Chris is like, yes, we've gone over everything 100 times. Plus I have to poop. What? And he like wobbles out of the meeting room. Like,
why?
It's so strange.
What's up with him and pooping?
What's up with him and pooping?
I don't understand.
Oh my God. Okay, so then we are at Lafayette Park. But do you have anything before that?
I got on my tangents of just commenting on where you were, remembering what I was thinking, and I just lost my spot in my notes. So give me 2 seconds.
That's okay.
Why do I have sucks so much ass that she was back? Oh, I wrote that it sucks so much ass that she was backstabbed. I get it now. Okay, sorry. Yes, I had a note that said Ron is creating his own issues at this point.
Oh, yeah, totally.
And now I'm ready to move on.
Okay. All right. So it looks like they really did make Lafayette Park like look really awful. The sign is broken. There's like rusted playground equipment. It's actually really nasty. And then I thought, like, why didn't they kaboom this park?
Right?
Know? But
there's so many parks that could have been kaboomed.
Yeah, I think that's the problem.
Yeah.
But we see that Leslie's planning a revenge moment, and she says, Eagleton treats us like trash, so we're going to go throw trash on their side of the park. And Ben is like, does his balancing thing that he usually does. And he's like, isn't that just playing into what they think of you? And then she finally sees that this is a bad idea. And she's like, okay, fine. Stop this. Like, we won't do this, you know?
Yeah.
I like that there is on the truck, it says sanitation department on the side. So
I didn't catch that.
Yeah. So I'm guessing they just like drove that truck over from like the dump or something, you know?
Yeah.
So then Lindsay comes over and with her cute dog. And my question is, why is she at this park? I don't think JJ's is close to this park, at least from what I would imagine. Maybe she is.
No, because this is on the edge, right?
Yeah. I guess you're right.
But now maybe she was driving
But she
back
was on
from
the Pawnee
JJ's.
side. Yeah. And she was like walking. So maybe it is close to JJ's.
She saw them and got out.
Yeah.
If you're that vindictive,
yeah,
she's not she's not above stopping.
Right.
She's not below stopping. Whatever that would say.
Well, anyway, Tom is sleazy Tom and acts like he's mad, but basically says he's going to work for them. Like, take my resume and shove it in your HR box or whatever. And Andy thinks that he's saying something. Yeah. Andy's so funny.
Hard.
This whole episode, he thinks he's saying something like insulting, but it's actually not. And Leslie says, like, you're forgetting that you're a Pawnee girl. And this is even more flame to the fire because JJ's waffles are legendary and perfect, and it's being used in a horrible way. Awful. And Lindsay, also, I meant to say this before, but Lindsay does a really good job character-wise of putting on this, like, regal voice thing. Like, like high-pitched kind of.
Yeah, and I think when you go back and watch that New Girl episode that she's in, she plays, like, someone you think who is a stripper. So she takes, like, this different
tone.
Yeah. So she's a good actress. And I think earlier with the whole self-help book and flyaway thing, I think that was acted so perfectly because she's saying it bitchy, but she's not full on bitch mode, if that makes sense.
Yeah. You can see it in her eyes too, where like it's not like all over her face, but it's this like subtle eye kind of vibe. It's very intriguing.
Yeah. She's just Parker Posey. Well done.
Well done.
You make me feel a lot of things.
Yeah, totally. And Ben can totally sense this rage in Leslie. Like, he says her name before she starts fighting Lindsay, and it's so funny.
It's just their connection they already have.
I know. And side note, well, and especially Ben now knows, I think, that JJ's is, like, sacred. So to insult that is big deal.
A lot. Bad.
Big deal. Side note, this dog's name is Sambuca, which is really funny because Sambuca is an Italian liqueur and very fancy. Just keeping in tone with the Eagleton. Even the dogs are fancy.
Yeah.
And it's pretty seamless here, but just to let you guys know, those are stunt doubles that are fighting.
I could tell.
Yeah, you can kind of tell by their body shapes, I feel, but it's the actual transition is pretty, pretty good, I feel. And they when Andy says garbage fight and knocks Tom over, that was actually Aziz falling. It's
amazing.
I think some people think that was a stunt double, but I think it looks like him. So maybe okay.
I wonder if that was almost improv, though, is my question. So maybe it really is Aziz, and he wasn't ready.
Right? Maybe. I mean, maybe I jumped the gun when I said that it was him, but it looks like his face.
It looks like him. Yeah, that's fair.
Also, apparently, it was 100 degrees this day, and so it was just like hot trash. Sounds awful.
I really hope it wasn't real trash in there, because then that would smell real bad.
Oh God, oh my God. The police are now here. Officer Trumple from Pawnee is back. We've met him before. And then the Eagleton police show up on Segways, which is so funny because they have even more of like this European sounding siren as well in addition to the Segways. It's so hilarious. And I love that detail.
They're also not like, oh yeah, that's a great detail. I love that they're also just not, they're not like as posh as Lindsay. They're like, we're cops too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
The way that Trumple kind of puts them together. I believe me and my colleagues.
Yeah. I know, which I think I thought that was really great. Like, they say, like, just apologize. We'll, move on. And we're like both doing this together kind of thing. Like, they can bridge the line, but Lindsay and Leslie can't. I also love the detail of Leslie throwing a Kate Spade headband. Lindsay has a Kate Spade headband. I think that's so funny.
Nor I her.
Oh my God, I love that so much. I do doth proclaim to be a stupid fart face. And then Lindsay says, did GB Shaw write that for you? And I didn't know who that was.
Oh, me either. So I also looked it up.
Okay, you go first.
Okay, so I have GB Shaw, short for George Bernard Shaw. He was an Irish playwright, critic. I can't read that word, but I think it's polemicist, and political activist. Didn't know what a polemicist was, so I looked it up. Somebody who engages in controversial debates.
Oh, okay.
So he lived to be 94.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, so he was born in 1856, and he died in 1950.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
But-
I had that he was famous for his role in revolutionizing comedic drama. So I think that's why she was like, did he write that for you? Because he was like a really famous playwright. I had that his most financially successful work is named Pygmalion, which was adapted into a popular Broadway musical, My Fair Lady.
I was going to say that. Oh, okay. I was going to say Pygmalion sounds really familiar.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he wrote that, and then it was, and My Fair Lady was based on that. He won the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1925, apparently, as well.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's kind of towards the end of his life a little bit.
Also, I don't really, I guess maybe My Fair Lady was, really fancy-ish or something, but I don't really understand why that came up to, in this episode.
In this episode?
I don't know.
I don't know. I've never seen My Fair Lady, honestly.
Really?
I know what it
it's
is,
great.
obviously, but
Yeah,
okay.
it's great.
Maybe I should check that out.
It's good. But you might know the music from it too. The music is really wonderful.
Most definitely I know the music from it, yeah.
But yeah, they won't say they're sorry, and just whatever and I love this too, because basically Officer Trumbull is like, we're going to have to throw you both in jail. So just say sorry. And then it cuts to them in jail. And this goes back to what Mike Schur was saying about not explaining what's happening, but just cutting to the next scene, because the audience will figure out what happened. And the comedy is,
That's kind of funny.
The next one. Yeah, exactly. I can't remember which scene it was exactly that Mike Schur talked about this, but they did film the explaining part of it, and then they ended up cutting it. And he was like, he said he learned that from somebody, but I can't remember who. But yeah, I love this technique of just cutting to the next thing. It's so much better.
I do too, and I think it leaves more to the, you're not helping us as much.
Right. Definitely.
We don't need to be walked through it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
You know the answer and how it ended, I love this Eagleton officer. This is where you can see the difference between the officers, and that they're on the same side, but they have their different ways.
Right.
Where this Eagleton officer has this great announcer voice, and he's treating her like she's at a spa or a hotel. And I think that is so amazing. It's very nice, very well lit, very cute. This actor's name is Damien Poitier, I want to say. It's Poitier. Maybe it's French. I don't know.
Poitier?
Maybe. He's been in a ton of stuff, and he's also a voiceover actor. So I'm sure that's where his voice comes into this episode, because I totally noticed that. I was like, your voice is so good for what this character is.
He's got a great voice.
Yeah. And he's been in Jarhead, Captain America Civil War, Payday 2. His IMDb bio says he plays a lot of thugs or soldiers, which is funny. He's also a huge stunt guy. So he also, the stunt ensemble, including him, was nominated for Captain America, which is really cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And I follow him on Instagram now, so you guys should follow him too. I did message him, haven't heard back, so we'll see. But apparently his bio said he comes in as Thanos at the end of the first Avengers film, but got replaced by Josh Brolin in Guardians of the Galaxy, ? So I do not know.
Interesting. I'd be interested to hear more about that.
Me too. So anyway,
okay.
I think... Oh, yeah. It's at the Eagleton one. Did you notice that there's a sign that says "Great change comes from within these walls"?
Yes. Which,
so funny.
When you treat people that nicely in prison, does it?
I don't know.
I feel like there needs to be more research on that.
Podcast.
Yeah, that could take years to talk about.
Yeah, lots of people
So I'm not going to go there, but I did see that.
Mm-hmm. All right, so now it's Wednesday. The screen is showing that it's Wednesday. And... let's see. Andy is saying good morning to Ron. You can tell that Ron's been freaking out. Andy's like, you forgot to put a shirt on.
Slept here.
I know. Andy's like, I do that all the time. I forgot to put a shirt on.
I love him.
I love that Ron says he slept at the office because he's scared of what Leslie would do. And he even has this 5 o'clock shadow, which is really a great detail too.
Oh, wonderful detail. And I love this forethought from Leslie that she knew Andy wouldn't be able to keep the secret.
Totally.
But that she made him feel special.
Yeah.
Like he had a job in this.
Yeah.
So well done.
Great planning.
Great delegation. She's great.
Totally. Andy's offering a free birthday shoe shine, and Ron's like, well, what's going on for my birthday? Because it's like a little birdie told me it was your birthday, and Andy makes it so close, so close.
He's so good. He's so close. He's out the door, man.
Yeah. Oh my God. And he says he's on the kidnap squad. Oh my God. But I love this little dialogue piece though, where he's like, I love you like a father who's not that much older than me, like a younger uncle or my camp counselor, but we're adults and it's not weird. Here it is.
Yeah.
You're my lacrosse coach.
Which I don't know
love
if he
that
ever
whole
played lacrosse, so why?
I know. I could see him playing lacrosse.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they didn't talk about it. But anyway. Okay, so now Anne is coming to Eagleton jail to bust her out. And also, did you notice that the exterior of this jail has a windmill?
No.
Like the like establishing shot. And apparently this exterior is actually a courthouse in Lamar, Colorado. I think it was just stock footage, but I was like, is this windmill real? What? But I think it is. So, intriguing. Wow. I don't know where Lamar, Colorado is, but if you're near there, let me know.
Yeah. Take a picture if you live there. We'd love to see it.
Leslie is wrapped up in this purple blanket that was provided, and it looks very super comfortable. Maple walnut scones sound so good.
So fancy. And she's like, they only have maple walnut.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Only.
And I also love the detail of like the jazz / like elevator music happening in the background.
Yes.
I think it's really
great touch. I doubt there's music in prison.
Nope.
I also I'm totally I was going to say, I'm totally with Anne on this. She's like, this color looks amazing on you. I'm like, it really does.
It does. It's great.
Yeah.
Anne asks, why did she get arrested? And Leslie says, the only thing I'm guilty of is loving Pawnee. But she did punch Lindsay in the face and shoving a coffee filter down her pants.
I love that little detail.
Me too.
Well done, Leslie.
Well, and then we get to where Leslie does have this finally kind of emotionally honest moment. I mean, she's been emotionally honest before, but this is like even more so. And she says that she is admitting that she feels hurt by Lindsay Carlisle Shay, and Lindsay sold out everything that they believed in. And this is again where, you know, I talked about this before, but where she didn't just ditch Pawnee and insult Pawnee, she abandoned Leslie and everything that they stood
That's really
for.
what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. And I love that this relationship moment is so wonderful. Anne is lovely and really comforts Leslie. And like you said, says that the color looks great on her. And Lindsay's just trying to get a rise out of her. But that line of like, you say the word and I will beat her senseless with a baseball bat. Violent!
I love it. Is violent, but I think that's, you know, just their relationship. But I also love Anne here, she's not getting jealous of Leslie's frustration with this relationship, where it shows that she really wishes she could still have a relationship with Lindsay. Mm-hmm. You know, like I feel like if you don't care about somebody anymore, you don't get this worked up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's true.
And Anne just takes it in full stride. Like, I know I'm her person. Like there's just this security in who Anne is to Leslie that she can sit there and be this really true friend in this moment. Yeah.
Well, and I like that. I don't know. I feel like this is one of those things where like she does mean the baseball bat thing, but more importantly, / like even if she didn't mean it, it's more the sentiment. You know what I mean?
You 100%. Yeah.
And anyway, so when she says the baseball bat thing, Leslie gets this idea and she says, I love that. Anne, put these scones in your bra. We have a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
Like, why can't she put them in her bag?
Right. She has a purse there. Yeah.
Right.
I understand. That's
and
funny.
Anne says she wants to stop by the lobby because the prison gift bags are amazing.
Which again is like, why?
I know.
No wonder you guys have no money.
Oh my God. So now it's Friday. The screen shows us that it's Friday. They're showing the Pawnee side of the park, and there's a really cute baseball game happening, or I guess it's wiffle ball, technically. Because before we get started on this scene, there is a deleted scene where Tom and Ben are on the sidewalk, and Lindsay comes up, and Tom does his like faux insult thing again, where he's like, I have something to say to you. And he's like, it's really funny because she comes up. Did I say that she was? I don't think I said that already. She has an Escalade, basically. She rolls up in an Escalade.
Okay. Yeah. Didn't hear that. Yeah.
And Tom does his false insulting thing where he says, I've never been in an Escalade before, so why don't you just give me the keys and I'll sit back and enjoy the entertainment system. And Lindsay is like, I heard there's something going on here, like another garbage party. What's going on? And then they pan over to see the baseball game. So I thought that was an interesting, I mean, I get why they cut it because you don't really need it, but I do think that's interesting to see like why Lindsay is there. Like she was called there or she heard about it or whatever.
Right. Someone told her. Yeah.
So then Lindsay heads over to the game, and Tom and Ben run over to the Escalade. And it's really interesting. There's like, it's really funny to me. I mean, I know this is like silly, but I've never been in an Escalade either, I don't think. And the like bottom little like footrest thing, when you close the door, it goes up and like hides underneath the like bottom of the vehicle.
I've heard about those.
Really fancy looking.
So fancy.
But anyway, so now Leslie and Lindsay are talking, and she said that Leslie had this idea, and I love this so much, where Leslie says, I had this idea after my best friend Anne said she wanted to bash your head in with a baseball bat. And I love Anne smiling and waving. I just think it's so funny. It made me laugh out loud. It's so good. Laugh out loud.
No, yeah, I love that. That's one of the lines that I have. Like, I really love that line.
Yeah, she's just like so nonchalant. She's like, hi, I said that. Thank you. So Leslie's using the fence to her advantage because they could never afford that good quality wood. And she's such a smart, out-of-the-box thinker. Like, I wouldn't have thought of that. I mean, I guess Anne did, like, spark the idea. But also, if I'm being completely honest, I think before I watched this episode as the Park Pals podcast host, I did not know that it wasn't already a baseball field, I feel.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like,
I guess, yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, it was a park before. It wasn't actually a baseball field. So that, I don't know why that didn't strike until now.
Is another commentary to Pawnee that it's a baseball field or it's a park that doesn't have a playground, so you can make a baseball field.
Right.
Yeah.
Then Leslie asks Lindsay what she's doing tonight, and maybe they could go to Sullivan's with their old jazz sweatshirt. And Lindsay kind of finally becomes a human and says she still has that sweatshirt.
I know you do.
Yeah, I love that. I know you do. Like,
yeah,
not all of Lindsay was burned away.
Right. I feel like here, and Leslie's a better person than me.
I know. I don't know how Leslie did that.
I really don't know. After all the awful things she said, I don't think I would have been like, can we go out for a beer?
Yeah.
I just don't think I could have. I could have definitely been like, you're free to stay and watch the baseball game if you'd like. I'm happy to do that. But I don't think I could go sit and have a beer one-on-one with somebody who treated me like that.
Yeah. And I also feel like, I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but I also feel like Leslie, maybe as an audience member, I kind of feel like she needed more of like a talk with both Ben and Anne to get to this point. So maybe I'm just going to imagine that they had more of a talk kind of situation. However, this line, when she says, Lindsay says, you did all this in a day. And Leslie says, yeah, I work with some really great people. Again, proving Leslie's kind of mantra of like never doing anything alone. Like, yeah, I kind of do understand a part of why she feels like she could do this now, or why she feels like strong enough to talk to Lindsay or go out with Lindsay now, because she's like, honestly, at the end of the day, Lindsay lost. Yeah. And by lost, I don't mean like competition lost. I mean like it's her loss that she didn't get to stay friends with Leslie and work with the great people that Leslie works with. And Leslie's kind of realizing like, okay, she's shitty, but like I have a great life. I don't know.
Well, yeah, and I'm happy.
And I work with great people. And you don't.
Right.
So I don't know. Yeah, it's
a win.
I agree, though. I was the same way, where I was like, "Wow, Leslie's like offering to go out for a beer with her. That's crazy." But it is a good, also like kind of commentary on like that's all it takes for a lot of people is like a compliment or like just a hand across the aisle kind of thing. For a lot of people, that's all it takes.
True.
A lot of people, it takes more than that, or none at all. But you know what I mean,
right?
Did you notice that Sweetums sponsored the scoreboard?
No.
Yeah, there's a Sweetums thing on the scoreboard, which is really funny.
Awesome. That's awesome. I love it.
Me too. I thought that was great. I don't know how they did that part so fast, but
yeah.
Either way. Okay, so now Leslie's coming into Ron's office and makes up this excuse to lead him to his birthday celebration. And I love when Ron like kind of flinches as she opens this door. But it's so precious. The door opens and there's a table set for one with steak, scotch, bacon, cigars, like dipping sauces for the steak, all these things. And it's so beautiful.
And two of his favorite movies queued up.
Yep, exactly. Yes, the Bridge on the River Kwai. And that one is Did you look up what these are?
I just know they're both war movies.
Yes. That's really all you need to know. I did obviously more deep diving because I'm crazy, but The Bridge on the River Kwai is a 1957 war film, and it was based on this book of the same name. And fun fact, Alec Guinness is a lead in that movie, and he's Obi-Wan, the OG Obi-Wan.
He is. Mm-hmm.
It's when he was like super young. I was like, oh my God, look at you. Yeah. But the summary is basically that British POWs, prisoner of wars, in World War II are ordered by their Japanese captors to construct a bridge, not knowing that Allied forces are going to destroy it. So That's sad. And then The Dirty Dozen is the other movie that's also a World War II movie where a U.S. Army major is assigned a dozen convicted murderers to train and lead them in a mass assassination of German officers. So I'm going to post, when I looked up these movies, I'm going to post the posters because they were like peak Hollywood, like 40s through the 60s. Like peak Hollywood movie posters were so quintessential. Like it says, it has all these like exclamation points, kind of like almost like a, oh my God, what am I trying to say? Like a Rosie the Riveter kind of poster, if you will, where it's like, one of them, I can't remember which one it was. Oh yeah, it was for Dirty Dozen. On the top, it says, train them, arm them, excite them, then turn them loose on the Nazis, exclamation point. And it was like, so
oh my gosh,
funny, like the designs and everything, like how it was. I'll have to post it. But, Lee Marvin was a lead in that one, if anyone cares. He's a big deal, too. But yeah, so those are the two movies that are his favorite.
Those were really close after World War II had ended, too. Mm-hmm. Within 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
So that's crazy.
It is crazy. This is my favorite line. It makes me want to cry. And it's just so perfect. Why would I throw Ron Swanson and Ann Perkins' party? That is my most favorite thing in the whole world. And it's just like, I think it's so layered to me just because I, layer everything. But like knowing that each person is a different person and they're going to react differently to different things. They have different interests or whatever. But like Ron Swanson is not going to enjoy an Ann Perkins party.
Yeah.
So what a great lesson. Like it's so tender and sweet and thoughtful and just like really perfect of who she is.
Well, and I think it takes.
Oh, go ahead.
It shows Leslie can step out of herself.
Yeah.
Because part of this, she loves throwing parties for people. So part of it, it's not selfish, but a part of it's for her too. Mm-hmm. And the fact that she can take herself out of it and be like, but that's not going to make Ron happy, I think is great character development.
Yeah, I do too. And I just think that this whole last moment between Ron and Leslie is so moving. Like it's so powerful. Like after this whole episode of her losing touch with what's important and by what's important, I just mean like Pawnee and stuff and fighting so hard and knowing that the people that she works with do have her back. And that he said when she got that job offer, she was obviously still working with the Parks Department in Pawnee. And she talked to Ron about it, obviously, as her mentor. And he said, you'll get a lot of job offers, but you only have one hometown. And I thought that was really cute and precious. And that's not for everybody, obviously, but it was what Leslie needed to hear. So I think 100%. That's really important.
Yeah, I agree. I love that whole ending moment with the two of them. And then I love that she's just like, next year your party's going to be a rager.
I love that too. Like this is a one-time thing, okay? Mm-hmm. Love that too. So cute. And then this tag, I love this tag of Ron just smiling and eating his dinner, watching his favorite movie. It's so lovely. Also, fun fact, Nick Offerman, if you follow him on Instagram, has a partnership with Lagavulin now, which I think is so cool.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, I see him post about it all the time.
Love it.
Which is the Scotch brand, if anyone is not familiar. But if you had to I thought about this, but if you had to have like a Ron Swanson party, but it was a Madison Hockaday party, do you know what it would be? Would it just be the board game thing that you did, or would it be like other things?
Yeah, I just think it would be better because we planned it. We planned it really well, but I think like some people came and some didn't want to play games, which is okay. But I would want it to be
just like sit in the corner,
yeah,
and hang out
and chat with each other, which is fine. Yeah. It's I'm not going to force you to play board games if you don't want to play board games. But I just think I wanted to plan out the games a little bit better and then like have an actual scoreboard of who like have a winner at the end of the night who won the most games or something. That's kind of what I would want to do.
Yeah.
So, and I would love to make it Harry Potter themed in some sort of way. So there were teams. Great. Yeah, that's what I would want. And we would have butterbeer.
Yeah, so good. Oh my God.
Yeah. I made butterbeer the other night when we were watching Harry Potter.
Ugh.
Alcoholic butterbeer.
So good. What did you put in yours? Pretty great.
So cream soda. Mm-hmm. I couldn't find butterscotch syrup anywhere.
Oh, dang.
So I used caramel.
Okay.
And
they
then,
make a butterscotch, or maybe it's caramel. They make a liqueur, both butterscotch and caramel. That could be what you add next time.
I just put Fireball in there.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so it was good. Put some whipped cream on top, and
the best.
It's pretty great.
Yeah. I know. There's so many different types of butterbeer recipes out there. I've seen
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah. There's many.
I put brandy in mine. It was really good.
Nice.
But I think
about
that
you?
cream soda, I think that cream soda like makes that little like the white foam or whatever the hell on top. It's kind of nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it is nice. Well, what would your Ron Swanson party be?
I don't know. I feel like I have like quite a bit of ideas. I don't know. I don't know if this is like for a birthday or just a random party. Maybe both. Maybe I'll just have like a weekend of parties or so, or a month of parties. But like one of the ideas that I had was like a fantasy party, meaning like everyone dresses up as their own fantasy character, like from one of the books that we've read, that some of my friends have read, or like Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings or like Elven, you know what I mean? Like that would be super cool, and have like mulled wine. And I made this really amazing stew, this beef stew before Christmas, and I wanted it to be very tavern, like very kind of like the stew that you read about in Lord of the Rings or any of the books where they're traveling a ton. And it turned out so well, and it lasted for so long, and there were so many vegetables and like beef broth, and it was amazing. So like I would have that. But the other idea that I had, it's kind of similar to the Ann Perkins party, honestly, where it's just like a lot of kid stuff, and like each section is its own, like, I don't know, like little themed moment. Like maybe we have a Harry Potter side.
Ooh,
maybe
like a corner.
Yeah. And like,
I like that.
I don't know. I've talked about this with my mom before, and this isn't like dark for me, but like, and it isn't for her either. We talked about it. Like we want her funeral to be like so lively and fun. I want my sister and I talked about this a lot too, and I don't know if we'll be able to do it exactly the way they did it on Parks, but we want my mom's funeral to be like Ann Perkins' going away party. Like each holiday is set up, and I want a big thing. Like I want most of it to be 4th of July themed, because that's my mom's favorite holiday. And I would just love that so much, to have like red, white, and blue streamers everywhere, because I don't want it to be like drab, if you will. I want it to be like a fun celebration of like this life that was lived. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
So like something like that would be cool for a birthday party too, though.
Oh yeah, that would be a blast.
And then obviously one day I want to go to Hawaii for my birthday, or some kind of beach or something.
Yes.
Which I do myself anyways, but you know what I mean? Be cool.
Yeah.
And then I want to have like
that happen.
A Barbie section in one, because you know how I create Barbies, I collect the yearly Barbies. My mom gets those for Christmas for me.
Yeah.
And so that would be kind of a cool section. I don't know. I just like, it's too much, obviously. So I'd have to figure out how to make it work. But, you know. And then one of the days, it will just be me. It would be like a Ron Swanson. But instead of those things, it would be like crab legs and watching The Holiday and Friends and Avatar and reading my favorite books, or just a new book. So I have a lot of ways to celebrate, I guess.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think it's, you know, and both of us, people might not know from the podcast, but we are introverts who can be extroverted when we need to be.
Yeah, totally. So
part of my day yesterday, before anybody came over, was I had a bath. By myself.
Oh, the best.
Like, Ivan just shut the door and he took the dogs, and I didn't have to. I was just by myself, and I just read in the tub.
Oh my God, the best. It's so good. I love a bath.
I didn't realize how bad I needed that, honestly.
Oh my God, it's the best when you can like use all the Did you take the candles from your engagement/bridal shower home?
Yes, I have them.
Okay, because those, like, I got some for myself, and I even think I have like 2 or 3 of the small ones that I even from your party. Those, if you turn out all the lights and light like 5 candles at least, such a magical moment.
Oh, I'll have to do that.
Yeah. It's lovely.
I lit a legit candle yesterday.
Oh, the best. The best.
So
the only reason I have candles is because I get them as gifts. I love candles, but I just like never buy them for myself.
I light up my candle in the house at least once a day. So I go through them really fast.
Yeah. I think that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brings me joy. Makes it feel homey.
Yeah, I agree. Especially if it smells good. Are you doing anything else for your birthday?
I think my dad's going to come tonight, and we'll do dinner and do one of the mystery games, because we had too many people here tonight to do one of the case file games. So.
Oh, that's cute. Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
So did Connor get to come like celebrate your birthday while he was there, or not so much?
No.
Okay.
No, he had to leave on Wednesday.
Okay, gotcha.
But he texted me. This is the first year in 3 years that he remembered to text me.
Oh my God. He just doesn't remember, or haven't his calendar, or
you ask him when my birthday is, he can tell you.
Mm-hmm.
He knows.
Mm-hmm.
But last year, his thing was, I told you happy birthday in my head.
Okay, well,
Forgot
that doesn't
to
count,
text
sir.
you. Yeah. So, but he did it. So it's funny because he texted me yesterday, and he texted me like 2 minutes after his girlfriend did. And I was like, who reminded you? Because it was pretty early in the day.
Yeah.
And he was like, no one reminded me. I know what day it is.
Do
It's
you?
like, I know you know when my birthday is. You just forget to text me.
Right.
So,
Well,
yeah.
that's good that he
But-
did text you, I guess.
Yeah. That was nice. So
Do you have any like visions or words for this year?
I made an entire resolution list.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's pretty long.
Well, you don't have to
I won't
share
go
all
through
of
all of
them.
it.
Or you can.
Yeah, I'll just
I don't
look
care.
I'm
I'm going to put a warning on the
couple-
Instagram that this one will be like really long. So whatever.
Yeah, that's okay. It is what it is. Yeah, so one of my goals is if I stay in my job, I want to get good enough at Spanish by the end of this year to be able to test and be bilingual at my job.
Oh my God.
So you get paid more
Maddie-
money.
Okay, well, I just paid for learning German on Duolingo. Really made me like so into it. So I want to be fluent enough as well, so we can practice together. Because I just paid, or not
love
paid
it.
for, but like I did the free trial, and then it'll I'll be paying for it when the free trial's up for Duolingo. And I feel like I'm on like unit 2 or something like that, and I'm not at the point where like it's hard yet, and so.
Right.
That's kind of frustrating because I just have to be patient and go through the levels, but like we can definitely practice because I think that is the key is consistency, but it's also like speaking with someone else who speaks it and practicing. You know what I mean?
So you're doing Spanish or you're doing German?
I'm doing Spanish.
Okay. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So yes, no, I think we should definitely do that. And yeah, so I've done it 8 days in a row so far.
Nice.
That I did. And I tested in because, I mean, I'm lucky because I get to talk to Ivan's family.
Mm-hmm.
So I did the test in, you know, where you like, oh, I already speak a little bit. And
Yeah.
it boosted me to unit 28.
Oh, nice. That's great.
So yeah, but it's the grammar stuff. I know a lot of
I
words, but
know.
it's the grammar stuff I can't.
Are you
So,
doing Mexico or Spain?
they don't have the option for Mexico on mine.
Oh,
Maybe they do now.
okay.
Because they just
mine's
upgraded
Spain
me.
Too. So
Okay. I
you're-
think
'cause you're doing
that's just
Duolingo
the
as well?
regular. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are you paying for it or not?
It's great question. I didn't authorize to pay for it.
You might
But
just
it
be
was
doing the free
like-
version.
Well, but then it's like now you're on Super Duolingo,
Oh.
and I was like,
Super Duolingo is the paid one.
right, but they didn't ask for my I didn't sign up for it, and they didn't ask for my payment.
Well,
So I'm
it
like-
goes through your Apple ID.
I know, but don't you have to authorize it when you pay for shit?
I think you have
Even
to-
the trial, I didn't authorize.
Oh, weird. Then I don't know.
So I have no idea what happened. So I'm just gonna keep an eye on it because I don't need the super kind.
Yeah.
You know,
It's really-
usually that's how I tell myself I'm done for the day. Is like if I
Get the
lose
5
my
hearts.
5 hearts, I'm
Yeah.
like, all right,
For me, it's worth it because I think it's only like $100 for the whole year, and I'm like, that's less than
Oh,
a gym
yeah.
membership, and it's a skill. And I got
Yeah.
really frustrated because for German anyway, German's hard, and so I was like, it was missing the 5 hearts or whatever, and I was like, this is
Yeah.
stupid. I want to keep learning, and so anyway,
yeah, it'll be good. We'll have to practice together.
Yeah.
We can text in Spanish too,
totally
so it'll be good. Oh yay, we have a practice buddy.
cute. Anything else?
So cute. No, I think this is a wonderful episode, and hopefully people are excited about the new year with Park Pals. I think we'll get through the rest of season 3 this year.
I do too.
And
Wait, but I meant any
hopefully-
other resolutions that you wanted to share.
Oh yeah,
You don't have
I
to.
know.
I was just curious.
Hold on, please hold.
Do you do the word thing too, or not so much?
What word thing?
Like where you give yourself a word or two for the year?
Oh, I didn't, but I should.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to. But it's kind of nice because, especially with the word goal, it's hard, I think, because a lot of people think of goals as like something you have to do or something that you're working towards. But I think a lot of times having more of a vision with it or like an idea in your head, which is hard for some people because you do like to have concrete answers and concrete deadlines and things like that. But
Right.
for like the vision of your year, it's kind of nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna think about that one.
Yeah.
The other one I have is that we want to plan and do one at least intentional date night per month.
Oh, that's great.
Because I think planning the wedding and then being married, like we go out to dinner together. Like, you know, we still do stuff together that's really fun, but it's like nothing's like an intentional, this is our date night, we're going to get dressed up or, so we want it to be really intentional.
Okay, cool.
So,
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, cute.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, next time is the fight, which is iconic.
My favorite episode. It's my favorite episode. It's my favorite episode.
The best. Cannot even stand it. So we will.
The cold opening is my favorite too.
Oh my God.
The whole thing.
Everything. You're stupid and you're drunk and you're stupid.
Ba-ba-booey.
Currently, that one that Leslie says is my favorite line. So we'll see if that changes.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thanks
so
for
good.
hanging in with us so long. And if you have any resolutions that you would like to share, we would love to hear them. And yeah, let us know if you have any other thoughts. If you haven't rated or reviewed, please do that. Mara's episode is up on Apple Podcasts right now. Like I said, it was having some trouble, but it is up. And when Apple Podcasts doesn't do it, that's the first time, but Spotify published it and everywhere else did. So if you can't find it on there, there's a bunch of links in our bio on Instagram that you can find it. So yeah, we will talk to you next time and we'll see you soon and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
There's a Parkinson Pals and there's also therapy too.